Okay. Well, let's start. So today's Sunday, and we're gonna do finally another second impact. I apologize for being late again, but oh well. I woke up dreadfully late, so that is the result. In addition, the thing I talked about earlier for implementing a more smooth integration of replays, that did not happen either this week. So if you're wondering what that special thing I was talking about was, that's not happening today. It's happening next week. So look forward to that, I suppose. It just means more work for me. Okay, so let's just get this started. The first replay we're going to look at is Formerly's replay. Is the video live? Actually, I just don't even want to know. I'll just pretend that doesn't exist. And my disc is fine. Yeah. I really gotta remind myself to buy another disc before I leave Japan. That's not my alarm. That's just Nico Nico Doga. That's weird because I have premium. Okay, so we're gonna look at we are going to look at Formerly's replays. Let me go ahead and double check to see if he mentioned anything. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Hold up. No. Excellent, there we go. Okay, so it's a lot of matches. So I'm going to go ahead and randomly select some because there's a lot. Let's see. Well, I'm going to just go ahead and pick some. He mentioned not looking at 2.5K, so we're just going to go and look at his 2K play. And I think he plays blue frame, so we're going to go ahead and just look at blue frame matches. Let's see here. How many we have? Alright, well, I'll just pick like the top 4 or something for now. Let's take a look. Do you think you'll need to implement a replay, limit on replays? No, because if you send more than like a bunch, I'm just gonna pick the top bunch. And it kind of depends on how much time we have and how busy I am on the day. So we're not really doing anything today. What's going on with his partner? Partner's AFK or something? Alright. So this is a double 2K versus double 2K match. In which case, I'm not really going to comment on things like health. Ooh. So, first thing I'll say is like ammo. Ammo, what's the word I'm looking for here? Consciousness. Ammo consciousness, right? So it's important to always kind of check how much ammo you are and want to gauge the situation beforehand. Right? So there we have no assist and no BR. So I'm not really too bothered by the fact that you got hit there. But moving in there in the first place is probably just not a good idea that you can easily fix by just checking how much ammo you have, right? Because, no, you don't need to conserve ammo. He's Delta Plus. So with Delta Plus, it's more about make sure you know when you need to reload. Because Delta Plus can spam ammo really easily, and it's not a big problem. But there's theory based around ammo rotation, which is knowing how to play based on whether you have 4, 2, 0, or the odd 1 or 3. Yeah. So we just want to make sure when you have the spare chance to be checking how much ammo you have. The more you play Delta Plus, the more you'll remember because it's only 4. So generally, most players who play Delta Plus internalize how much ammo they have as they fire it, and they see how much and they count it down. I just reload. I have 4, 3, 2. Now I have 2. Now 2 or 1, 0. Now I have 0, etc. Yeah. So we just want to make sure we try and gauge how much ammo we have before we move in. Because it wasn't really a big deal that you got shot there. You moved a little awkwardly or you boosted into him and you got shot. Not the end of the world, something that's easily learnable. That's not a word. Is it? But, moving in first, in the first place is kind of a problem there. So, it's fine. It's good. You're looking at things. It's good. So, well, this is a little early to say, but you know, I'll say it now before I go ahead and I will probably say this. This will probably be redundant, but minimap. So you might be able to you might not be able to tell from just looking at the screen, but you've literally been in melee range or just barely out of it of Exia for maybe the last 5 seconds. Ever since you kind of boosted towards your partner. Really, really, really close. Now, this is not a super big problem, but it is quite a fortunate situation for you, because if you actually look at the minimap here, you guys are doing a pretty nice job of pincering, or separating, I suppose, not pincering. I suppose that you're separating Drapopi and I don't remember who the exit player is on the other team. So this is a really, really easy, nice opportunity here to swap, and that would be really wonderful. Also, you're being shot, or maybe not. I can't really tell. Oh, looks like you are. Okay, so sidestep. So the thing about boost is boost doesn't cut guidance. So if we rewound this, we could actually see that you got your boost off, but boosting just moves you. So because melees track and follow, generally boosting is a very weak way of escaping from melees. Oh, it's Exia is Acidace. Okay. Boosting is not a very good way to escape from melee once you're close enough to get meleeed, because even if you successfully boost away, melees have a good amount of regen hitbox once they start being active, so they'll kind of suck you in there. So in that kind of situation, you really want to just mash sidestep. And you know, sidestep melee or sidestep BR or sidestep BZ. Sidestep BZ would be quite good. So so you know, you do want that cut. So I'm gonna say a lot of very redundant things that we've heard many, many times, but as I've explained since last week, I will say them again. On angle. Uh-oh, you're gonna get hit. Yeah. Ooh, lucky. That's nice. So, okay. So that was a little wonky, right? Your health was a little off. Not really that important. So on angle, right? We definitely want to try and not fire off angle because it's quite weak. It causes vernier. And that brings me to the next thing I'm going to say, which is using your assist. It's good that you're using your assist. It's better than not using your assist. But the problem is, usually with Delta Plus, you want to cancel your assist into BR so that you plummet. And instead, you're generally throwing out your assist, especially when you're turned around. It causes vernier or something. So we want to just try and prevent ourselves from verniering as much as possible. Because if you actually notice, most of the times you get hit, it's because you're verniered, or you know, you're causing vernier and just getting hit. So we just want to work on that a little bit. Okay. This is CD and Mac T against Ace D and Formally. Okay. Good. So this is good, right? You're helping your partner. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's actually quite unfortunate, but you know, probably just need to be a little bit earlier on that. Well, it's not really that you fall out of... I'll explain what's actually going on there. It's technically not that you're really falling out of the animation. It has just to do with states, basically. You're changing your state up. It's pretty one-sided. Oh, wow, lucky. Okay. So I will briefly explain what's going on with the cancel and what in Japanese we call Amekon, which is like rain cancel. And we don't really have a good word for it in English. So some people call it like a fast fall. Some people call it like a forced drop or like a plummet cancel. But what it is, those kind of cancels, are basically it's a change of state. So when you do your assist, you turn on your vernier. You're in vernier state, which means your verniers are hovering, and you will stay there until that state dissipates. What you're doing when you're canceling your assist into a BR is the BR has a different state, which means as long as your BR is on angle, it forces neutral state or falling state, just normal state basically. So it basically forces you into neutral. So all you're basically doing is you're doing assist, which puts you in vernier state, and you're canceling it immediately into a BR, which has a normal state, which means that you don't really have the disadvantage of the vernier state. It happens for a split second, and that's pretty much it. It's important to note that the neutral state that occurs when you fire your BR only happens on your on-angle BR. So if you are facing away, no, not all assists, it's only with specific suits. There are more in full boost, but there are still a good amount in vanilla. So it's important to note that it's not really about like canceling out of animations, because if you, I mean, it's not really like you're removing the recovery, like throwing it away. You're simply shifting it over, right? You're basically making it so it never really happened, because you're immediately going into a different state. You're forcing a different state. What was I saying? So the important thing to note is if you BR out of angle, your BR's out of angle shot is a vernier state. So if you do a out of angle assist into BR, you will have a vernier stated assist, and then you will immediately shift into a vernier stated BR. And that's why it doesn't work like that. That's why it really has nothing to do with the first move you do, the assist, and it has all to do with the second move you can do. So any person who has a force drop move, any person who has a force drop move can utilize this. As Shimoria said, Delta and Phoebe are the two it's most useful with. It's very useful with, off the top of my head, X2. It's also good with Cubelay, actually. It's pretty good with Cubelay. And a couple others I can't really remember off the top of my head, but it's not really that important. In full boost, the big ones that are really, really useful that weren't there before were X1 has one now, as well as Exia. And there are a couple others, but just those two off the top of my head are really good. Okay, cool. Let's just go ahead and watch something else. Oh yeah, Unicorn, but who gives a fuck about that suit? So, there was one thing I wanted to say. That's what it is. Make sure you use your charge shot B. It's a little bit suit specific, so normally I wouldn't really make a big deal out of it, but it is really important to... That's unfortunate. It is important to use a charge shot B because it's a one-time thing, so generally I recommend practicing having your charge shot B held down at the beginning of the match, because you can easily, at the very least, combo into it like BR, BR, charge shot B, or BR, charge shot B. You might as well. It forces down. Nice counter. That's good. Alright. So a couple things I'll say. Movement. movement, right? So you should really make sure you re-watch the fundamental techniques video and practice trying to the beginning. Okay, we'll rewatch this again. You had a question about the beginning of the match. You try to melee cut. We'll watch that. But movement, right? We want to make sure we do practice having better movement. So we want to try and vary up the way we move rather than just using boosts. You tend to generally just only use boosts, and it seems like you're having a bit of kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It seems like you're panicking a little bit, and you know, while you're playing at neutral like this, you do tend to move a little bit better. But I noticed that once things get into close quarter situations, you tend to drop the ball a little bit. So I don't know if that's the cut you're talking about, or maybe this is the cut. I don't know. Because like it wasn't really a cut. You pursued with melee. So if you're talking about that, then well, it was like, yeah, you're just like kind of chasing. I think it's okay. It's okay. We'll rewatch how he escaped. I think it's okay. I just think you probably need to rainbow cancel faster, or you might have been a little bit too far. Let's watch it again. So it's really good that you're like looking at Master there after you get that down on Akihiro. Oh, okay, so you just messed up. That was, you could have gotten that. Here, I think it would have probably been a better idea, because he's not even looking at you, right? You probably should have confirmed, like, by this point, you're a little bit too far, so a BR would have been okay. A boomerang would have also been pretty guaranteed at this point, too. Like, BR boomerang is a really good string that you should also get used to as blue frame. But you actually could have gotten him with a melee, I think, if you just went a little faster. They're just a little bit too slow on it, that's all. Yeah, you know. Well, hard to say. I'm not gonna, I think it's fine. Though, by this point, you're a little bit far, and here, probably a BR boomerang would have sealed the deal. So, you know. Anyways, so the big things that you should work on are movement, on angle. These are the things I always say, right? Yeah, BR boomerang is really good. So movement on angle, I will say, suit specific wise, there's a lot you can easily fix by just kind of implementing certain things, like use your BZ more. So BZs are really good, and they're really good for putting compact pressure, poke, or punish strings by canceling BR BZ. The BZ by itself is still also good, so generally utilizing is quite good. You have a lot of them. They come back pretty. BZ is one of the nicer things about Blue Frame, is he does have a nice access to it. So having 3 is nice. So BZ is good. Your use of Boomerang is alright, so it's good that you're conscious about using Boomerang and you use them in good moments. Same with your melee counter. Was there any movement option I wasn't using? Well, you weren't really boost hopping very effectively, and you tend to boost a little bit early. You tend to boost quite fast, like boost dash cancel. So you know, your use of melee counter, boomerang, and also your general partner consciousness is pretty okay. And I think those are more of your stronger points. So what you really need to work on is, whatchamacallit? What you really need to work on is movement. For now, movement, mainly movement, and also on angle consciousness, I'll say. I'll go ahead and watch one more. But yeah, make sure you do use your BZ more, because your BZ is really good, and your Charge Shot B. Your Charge Shot B and your BZ are really good tools of Blue Frame, and they impact the way you play your suit, so So they're quite good. Yeah, there you go. That's good. So this is pretty dangerous. And while I do applaud the use of knockdown, right? So it's good that you recognize you knock down the other guy and you're like, oh, okay, let me get the other guy. But you do have to respect that he does get up at some point, and there's a timing thing, right? So yeah, you knocked him down and you switched over to Royal Big Bro, but you kind of pinstering yourself, and Full Cloth basically can wake up right underneath you. It's pretty dangerous, regardless of the fact that it's Full Cloth, though it's even better for Full Cloth because he has a neutral whip. But regardless, you know, it's good that you knock down, but you know, once the person you knock down wakes up, the situation is kind of reversed. So now it's a little bit icky. You got hit, so it's a little bit different now, right? So do be aware that, you know, knockdown doesn't always mean you can do whatever you want on the other guy. You do have to still be conscious of the timing when the other person you knock down wakes up. So in that sense, you're limited in what you would do. So in that situation, for example, you could maybe poke at Royal Big Bro like once, but spending more than that amount of boost really becomes a huge liability and risk, because your opponent is waking up, and now your partner basically has to cover for you. So your partner now sees that you're up in the air, occupied, and he's now forced to try and babysit the Full Cloth to make it so the Full Cloth can't hit you. Good. So that's fine. That's fine. You got a landing punch, so you know that's good. Doesn't really matter that you got cried. The point is that you got a landing punch, and pride isn't that the most important thing. So we do want to make sure that when we do melee like that, if you do get knocked down, you should rainbow step it, because you know whiffing the melee there is really risky. So always try and get in the habit of that. That's a pretty common early problem that a lot of people have. So you just need to remember rainbow step. So I don't know if you're trying to confirm further hits, but you should just commit to them and press them, because it's really difficult to confirm like a single melee hit in this game. So I highly recommend just committing on it, at least for now. If you're not sure whether it's going to hit them or not, you should rainbow step it rather than like letting your 6P empty, because not going further and just letting your 6P whip out like that doesn't really help the situation. Like, you don't really gain anything from having that 6P. Good counter. Good. It's a good 2B. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there. Well, I think I said everything I need to say. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've said everything I need to say. All right, we can go ahead and switch over. Anyway, so you know. Do you think Acidace is a good person to watch and replays for examples of what to do? It depends. Like, well, I mean, you know, it's the same thing as like, is it I'm learning Guilty Gear and is it worth watching some American who's like better than me, right? So if you're, you know, you're really new to this game, so he does a lot of things that you don't do yet because you're new, and some of those are good things, so it's better to learn, yes. But he also has a lot of bad habits that are built up from various reasons, mainly like net play. So some of the things I wouldn't recommend doing. Some of them, obviously, I will, because it's better to, like, you know, it's better to move sloppily than to not move at all. But honestly, this early when you're learning, like when you just started learning, like you have, I actually think it's fine to just focus on teaching yourself and getting used to certain things, rather than copying or parroting other things that people are doing, because it's important to reason them out yourself and not just follow formulas. You want to know why they work, because at some point you need to be able to adapt and create your own playstyle. So, you know, I mean, copying people is good and you get better that way, but some of these things are very, very easy. So I feel like copying people is kind of like cheating, because, you know, like it gives you results, but you don't learn as much. And it's pretty good to do, especially when they're difficult things. So you may not understand a certain thing, but they do it, so you start doing it, and then maybe you'll start realizing why it's good, or you just keep doing it, it's a good habit. And that's fine. But at this level, it's very, very easy, so I'm pretty confident that anybody can really reason out all of the reasons to do certain things, like why jumping is good, or that you should use sidestep in certain situations versus boost dashing, right? Those are not super complicated concepts, so I don't think there's any reason to need to copy that kind of thing rather than just reason out yourself. Good, alright. So the next replay we're going to look at is... I don't know whose this is. Let me just find out. I think this is Burger Kong's. Yeah, it's Burger Kong's, alright. Let's go ahead and move this over. Okay. Oh, did you send it to me, Sir Moria? Let me check my email. I don't know if I have it. There we go. What's this? Okay. Not bad at all. Well, if you want to email it to me, go ahead. Let's see. Let's go. Okie dokie, black screen, I know. Actually, not even black screen, just scary Zalgo screen. Alright, here we go. Alright, so we are looking at Burger Kong's replays. Okay, okay, I see, okay. I forget what Burger Kong's name is. Is it Triumph? It must be Triumph. Alright, yeah. He's IJ, right? Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and watch some. So I will comment there. We do want to. It's good that you're implementing swerving, but the strength of swerving comes from understanding vectors of both players, especially. So we do want to make sure that we practice, being used to knowing where the two opponents are and the vectors of their attacks. So so swerving is good, and it's generally good to do it all the time, but only if it puts you in a beneficial vector. In that case, it actually got you hit. So so we do want to make sure we do practice being conscious of vectors. Good. Good. Ah! Ah! So just remember also, Burger Kong that if you're unsure about the state of your landing punish, which seems like you are a lot of the time, good. Good confirming to BC. Good. Partner gets a cut? No, that's gonna be a problem. So, do be aware that if you are a little bit confused about the state of your landing punish, you can always opt for Boomerang. It's a pretty consistent answer. I also do not agree with that. Whoa. Whoa. That's really weird. So if you pause the game right when someone activates, it plays the sound effect still. That's pretty weird. Yeah, that's really weird. I've never seen that happen. I've never done that on accident in a replay. So interesting. That's probably a bug, but it's because it doesn't like pause in the frame you input it. So I guess, yeah. Like, it actually takes a few frames for like the menu to pop up. So what was I gonna say? Right. So we already know you're gonna lose this match, and I'm going to assume, or I'm going to not assume. I'm going to predict that the reason why you lose this match is because of your health, and rather your health conservation, because that it seems like you forgot how much health you're at, because that confirm from BR into boost dash melee, while kind of a cute idea, was really problematic because, yeah, you got cut there and you're really low, so you're really low now. And you're 2, and yeah, it's gonna be quite a problem. Yeah. So kind of like this whole mess revolves around you going in for that boost dash melee, because honestly, even if you had landed that boost dash melee, you need to get out. You were at pretty low, and your partner is doing fine stuff, full health. So, and you also did not get a chance to use your activate, which would have been beautiful. So here you kind of want to just prioritize positioning. And it feels like positioning and health were kind of low priority in this match, and you just kind of focused mainly on like cutting and supporting your partner, which is fine. But you know, as a result, we kind of got put into this situation. So this is kind of now, you know, an icky situation to be in. Even though you've overcosted and it's great, and you know you're ahead, but this could be a problem. No! No! Boomerang. 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 Well, there are a myriad of things you could do there, but sidestep charge shot was not one of them. Charge shot is too slow. I think you sidestepped. If you didn't sidestep, it would have been even worse. But definitely boomerang would have been quite fine there. Definitely, you know, I find so far that you use charge shot A lot, and a lot of the times it's good. But you do have to I feel like you have a little bit of an attachment to it. It's very easy to get attached to it because it's really easy to use. It's really strong, and it works in a lot of situations. But like as soon as you see Master activate there, your thought should just be, I need to not die. And is charge shot here gonna really be useful? Not really, because it's really slow, and against Meikyo Sui Master, you're really gambling there. So using there in that situation, my first thought should be, okay, I want to boomerang him because he's gonna try and go in on me. My partner's with me, so if we bring it into a stalemate, we'll probably be okay because my partner's just frantically trying to catch up. So as long as I can just not die in the next like 3 seconds, we're okay, because he's really low and my partner has tons of health and he's Quanta, right? So you know, it's really good because charge shot A is got force knockdown, it's quite wide. It is generally okay against melee. But here it's a little bit risky because Masters and Meikyo Shisui, so as soon as you see him activate there, you need to switch your game plan. So, you know, thinking about either a nice place to throw out your boomerang, helicoptering or stalling, or just getting distance so that you can block maybe, or at least stall until your partner Quanta gets like a melee cutting or something like that, right? Because you guys were ahead, but the biggest problem was just that you're playing positionally wise too dangerously. As soon as you saw a Master come in, you should have been, you know, because freedom is not really the problem there. You don't really have to worry too much about freedom. But Master is the one who's going to be pushing your shit in, so you really want to be worried about him, and just distance-wise, you just want Quanta to get on somebody, right? Good. Okay. Get some water. Yeah, see, so this is what I'm talking about again, about your charge shots, you know. Really, they are really good, but I think the thing you don't have a concrete understanding of is just how slow charge shot A's startup is and how vulnerable it puts you in kind of the medium range. And you really just got to remember that charge shot is good, but it has risk when you use it. So there's actually only certain times you can use charge shots. The main one being when they're not looking at you. You're playing back, so this may not be noticeable because most of the time they're not targeting you, right? But you have the kind of bad habit of using charge shot A when you are being targeted. As a result, yeah, you kind of just get shot by stuff because people are shooting at you. So you need to remember that you need to be conscious of the fact that you can only use this charge shot A at certain times. It's not just like you throw it out for free, right? I mean, it is, but you do have to be conscious that it can be punished, right? So most of the time, 80% of the time, right, you can just not think about whether they're looking at you or not and just throw it out because most of the time they're not looking at you. But the other 20% of the time, if you're not conscious of that situation being bad for charge shot A, that will happen every single time, right? Good. So... Good. Make sure to practice second impacting there, because you could have second impacted into a charge shot A there for a really fast down. Instead, it kind of got a little awkward because you kind of like reset him in the air with boomerang, or go into airplane, whatever the hell you call that move, backpack, right? So you did like BR boomerang or something. You like BR boomerang or something like that, right? Glider, thank you, glider, thank you. Lifter, no, lifter, thank you, lifter. So yeah, so canceling into lifter, I you know, I mean, if you play IJ enough, you understand that it's not really amazing of a tool, and you kind of like begrudgingly use it when you need to, and you'd rather get downs other methods. But here, it would have been okay, right? So, you know, but honestly, the best thing would have probably been if you had second impacted into your charge shot. So the reason why you didn't get the second impact is I believe you stopped charging when you pressed boomerang. So for boomerang, even lifter too, you want to practice partitioning that charge A. So you want to practice holding down that charge A after you press lifter and boomerang, right? In those kind of situations, when you get those hit confirms to second impact into it, because yeah, it would have been good. Because even yeah. Anyways, so you know, so second impacting is useful. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see. Yeah. Well, I can't really give you advice about second impacting on pad with like button combinations, but you can always play claw style. Oh, it's just L2. See, that's actually one of the problems with not having multiple button combinations on pad. Is I find it's easier or more intuitive I find it's more intuitive to have multiple buttons to just, yeah. It's easier for partitioning stuff, second impacting and all that stuff. I find it easier. Not like I've really played much on pad, but to me I find the separate buttons being much more useful. Ah! This is a little bit dangerous, but so again there, really dangerous charge shot A. There was no way in hell I was gonna hit him, right? So I would just say you need to focus, like I would say play some matches where you don't think about anything except should I be charge shot A-ing here or not? Because you're not really thinking about it, you're just kind of holding it down, and then your game plan revolves from there basically. It seems like you hold down charge shot A, and then you say, okay, well, somewhere in here I'm going to sneak a charge shot A, and then I'm going to go for something, and maybe if they land first, I'll just throw out the charge shot A and hit them. And if we get into an air-to-air fight, I'll throw out this charge shot A, and then I'll start using BR boomerangs. But a lot of the time, you know, because your charge shot A causes vernier and all these other things, and it's slow in startup, you will fall into problematic situations like last match where you're stuck with a charge shot A, right? And that's one of the worst problems to have, you know. And lots of people have this problem with lots of kind of suits, you know. Because, you know, charge shot A is really good, so you get into the habit of just holding it down all the time. But sometimes, because it's a little bit slower than you'd like, or you're moving on angle, right, you'll get stuck with it, and you'll say, I have this charge shot A, I need to dump this out before it's too late. Shit, you know, and then, you know, you just kind of throw it out. So one of the things I'd recommend is practicing being conscious of, should I be holding down charge shot A right now, or should I just not at all? Should I be using this move or not at all? And, you know, there a lot of the situations I'd recommend not using charge shot A and are these kind of weird air-to-air ones against pretty strong mobile suits, where especially ones with like fast shots, where you're gonna really want more on-angle BRs and access to your boomerang immediately, right? Especially your boomerang, you know. Good. That was a little awkward, but okay. See? So, you know, again, your health, right? I mean, there is merit to close range charge shot A. It is wide, it gets a knockdown. Sometimes it's really great, and having it at the very end of your exchange when they've committed to something gives you a really easy punish. So it's not the end of the world to charge shot A close range, but it can get you into sticky situations. So you just want to really start feeling out for yourself where those are, because it's just experience based. You just have to know like what kinds of exchanges will not really work out for charge shot A, and whenever you get in those kind of exchanges, think to yourself, I shouldn't have charge shot A there. You know, next time let's just screw the charge shot A and just, you know, not even hold it down. You know. So one of the big things is your health. Your health. Now, hey, what's up, Yuki? Now, you know, your IJ, your hard to touch. This is actually quite an okay health to honestly be at, even, you know, because your partner is sub 50%. So, you know, this is still fine. I mean, it's bad, right? But it's not the end of the world. You can still satisfy. You have a activate. So at this situation, the number one thing, aside from the fact that you're low on boost and you're gonna land and maybe you'll die here, I don't really remember what the status of the fourth person is right here, but your main priority should be not dying and getting distance, right? Oh, good, you're getting knocked down. That's fine. Good, so your partner gets a really nice down and you're able to kind of reset the situation. Now, you don't have to be this close, but I like the fact that you are respecting it. So here, this is a map barrier consciousness topic now, which is actually boosting to the right is a problem. You want to boost, well, for your camera perspective that way, right? Because you're boosting to the right, into the wall, into the corner. It's now really easy for Quanta to shift around to our left and drive us into a corner. And, you know, if he shifts over to a left, then we have to move up and to the right towards our partner where freedom is, and that will just result in us getting a little bit of a corner situation. So here it would have been much better to move left. Now, fortunately for you, you have an activate, so you're probably gonna salvage the situation. You should. He has an activate too, I think. Don't remember if he died with it on. I don't remember, so we'll find out. Yeah, you could have activated a little later, but yeah, he does. Ah! Alright, so good boomerang. So he's right on you still, you know. So this is one of those things where you run away and you look at the other guy because you're like, whoo! I got away. All right, what's next? You know, what's next? What's next, son? I'm ready, right? But if we look at the mini map, we can see that he is on your ass, and you know, we can't actually see what happened there, but I think he just barely whiffed a melee on you, right? I mean, he was literally inches away from you there. If you actually looked at the mini map, he's like he's on you hard there, right? So we do want to make sure when we get to that nice I'm out of there moment when you're drifting off with that boost hop and you kind of feel like you're out in the clear. Check one more time, because sometimes things will happen that you don't expect, and that's that kind of thing. Quanta in quantize mode, you know, moving pretty fast, and yeah, it just moves really fast, you know. So he was probably just hounding after you with the boost dash melee after that BR. So you probably thought after that BR he just landed, but instead he canceled it and just went balls out on you, right? So so we do want to make sure, you know, we know, because if we had gotten a little greedy and shot at freedom or something, or, you know, just not really thought much about Quanta, it could have been really sticky. Now you're probably gonna switch here and realize it and be like, oh shit. But, you know, let's find out what happens. Yeah. So your partner does get that cut, so, you know, all's well that ends well. He gets that cut. But, you know, you put your partner in kind of a difficult situation there where he's pretty much just trying to rescue you the whole match. Now, it's great because it ended up working out, but we do want to try and reduce the stress on our partner like that. And, you know, I felt like your master was really worrying for you the whole match. Yeah, I could feel his, I could really feel his kind of psyche in that match of him just being like, yeah, my partner, shit, you know, and he gets some nice stuff, but the whole time he's probably just really stressed out. I would be really stressed out in his position, right? I think the Quanta there made a pretty bad misplay with his activate though, because I honestly think he was a little bit too passive on hunting you, and as a result he let you go. He probably should have died there, to be quite honest, but it's okay. So, you know, things that, what did we learn from that match? You know, I haven't really touched on that last subject that we talked about a lot, or yeah, we haven't really talked about that much, but definitely this idea of you escape from the guy who's pursuing you, so you start looking at the other guy. And that's generally good, but make sure you look at your mini-map, because you get in those really sticky situations there where they're kind of closer than you anticipated, and, you know, while it's good that you're training your fourth player sense by looking at the third player and feeling out the other person, you do want to correct and look at the other person, because you'll never really know, we'll never know, like, aside from by rewatching from his perspective, but from only watching your perspective, you never really knew how close you were to getting bodied there. And you don't really know whether your partner would actually cut in before you died. I think he landing punished. I think what happened is he did like boost dash melee, whiffed it, and then master hit him. But we don't really know for sure. Like, we can guess based on the timing, but it's hard for you to say, was that a good idea to just look at the guy? I mean, you know, you didn't get hit, so you could have just played this game and not even thought about it at all because you didn't get hit, right? But having watched it again, we know, watching it the second time, that, ooh, that was really close, and we don't really know how close it was. We don't really know how close it was, right? So confirming helps you learn. Because if you swapped and realized, oh shit, you know what? I actually would have died there if my partner hadn't saved me. You would have said, okay, next time when I boost up, you know, hop in this situation against Quanta, I should really not assume I'm out. Because you basically assumed you were out, and I don't know whether you're really out. It's hard to say, right? So yeah, minimap, in other words, right? And, you know, checking, right? And again with the charge shot. So the charge shot was, you know, charge shot was kind of a problem there. Yeah, what Dr. Dickens says, minimap is free. Minimap is free. Just like switching cameras is free-ish, right? But minimap is free. It's all, it just, the only thing that it costs you is your attention. So practicing it will make it cost less attention, and it'll make it easier to use. Because everybody starts this game not looking at the minimap at all. So overall, also, so you took a lot of damage there, and I'm gonna say it's kind of one of the banes of IJ players, which is you tend to want to play close but back. Like, your optimal goal is to be close to them, but have them not looking at you, which is everyone's pipeline dream, right? You should just play dog or something. I'm just kidding. So, you know, so it's kind of difficult. It's one of IJ's harder tasks, and you know, one of the things I do think you definitely want to try more is to be aware of your positioning and try and pick and choose when you get close, because sometimes we will see you leap forward a little bit and your partner's in the back and you kind of poke out for a bit, but you know, you kind of like take the jump early, you know. So I would say, you know, be a little more conscious of your partner's desires a bit. So even here, you know, well, you're kind of cornered, so do be aware that, well, I mean, it's up to your partner to move back, but you're kind of, this movement here back to the right is actually telling your partner, hey, let's you know, let's play more in this corner. Let's play more in this corner, right? That's not what you want here, right? You want to get out of this corner, so do be aware, again, a spacing corner, being map conscious. It's not a very, like, you know, when you're learning the game, it doesn't really matter. And, you know, for less experienced players, I wouldn't even comment on this decision here. But you know, the rest of what you're doing is a little bit more streamlined. But I do feel like some of your weaknesses have to do with things that actually not really a weakness. I would just say like you should start working on this, as in like this is, you know, the next topic that you don't really seem to tackle very much in your play. So you should make this your homework. Is things like map awareness and positioning, because it's another big topic when you're playing back play, is guiding your partner and making it easier for your partner to make decisions. You know, you want to basically, as a back player, you want your partner to feel at ease. You want to make them feel comfortable. You don't want to fight with them, and you don't want to give them any kind of baggage, right? So I feel like in a lot of these matches, you're giving your partner a lot of baggage, when the opposite should be happening, right? You want to really be assisting your partner so your partner feels like he can do whatever he wants. That's what you want, right? You want your partner to feel like he can do whatever he wants. So I find that a lot of your play, you are kind of tugging at him and you're kind of fighting for attention with him a lot of the time, when I think you should give a little bit more, because you tend to either dictate a little bit too hard. You make plays, you kind of go ahead and just call out on plays that aren't really that important, and as a result your partner feels tugged and he can't do what he wants to do, when sometimes I think you should just, you know, pass the ball to your partner and let him play show and tell for a bit, you know. Along with that, again, so, you know, health is also one of these problems, you know, and just positioning. So we do want to work on being just a more happy, supportive partner, right? Yeah. So this is good because you do, so here's, so you're playing in this corner. So again, right, your partner followed you. It was great. Your partner followed you, and you shifted to the right, and at the same time, Quantum made the error of not really paying attention to the map, and he put himself kind of more in that corner. So as I was watching this, I said, oh, excellent, you shifted the roles. You're squeezing out of the corner now. You're pushing them into the corner towards the wall. That's perfect. But then right after that, you boost back into the corner, and now we're in the same situation as before. So really, really here, you know, corner map awareness, it's a really big part of kind of more serious matches. You know, these things do influence, especially when your opponent is something heavy hitting like Quanta. And your partner is Unicorn. He wants more space here. I know for a fact that this Unicorn player is definitely feeling a little bit claustrophobic here, or at least in the back of his head he's thinking, can't really move very well. I wish I had more room. He wants more room, right? So here we finally recover from it, and excellent, we are back. You get an okay cut-ish, no? Okay, good. Oh, never mind. So yeah, I think actually it would have been fine to just try and landing punish Quanta there actually after that boost dash melee combo, but you kind of dropped the ball there. So Meepy, so you know, not really worth the effort. That's good. You realize it, right? But you know, in the good. Good, good. 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 So this is much better. That's really nice. That was amazing. Like, I'm really happy that happened for you. Oh wow, you still got it. It's surprising. So So, that last part was really messy for a lot of reasons. So I'll touch on a few things I want to say. First of all, the late tech there was not really good. Because your partner was like 1v1ing over there. So it's not like your partner was in any shape to kind of come back and help you. So we can kind of imagine that your teammate and his partner or his opponent are out of the situation. This was really a one-on-one situation. In that kind of one-on-one situation, I would not advise the late tech because you get less invincibility on it. So it's better to just early tech for more priority. As just early teching and then boosting away to get over to Unicorn would have been fine. You know, it would have been fine. Instead, you know, you did get a wake up charge shot A, which worked because he was doing something wonky, but that was still a little bit awkward. Yeah. So, you know, it worked out. That charge shot A worked out, but I mean, wake up charge shot A is actually honestly pretty gimmicky. It works when they are not doing good OP, but otherwise it ends up being kind of a problem. Because it's just slow, and yeah, especially with the late tech. Anything else I want to say? So, I like that you are conscious and going for certain hit confirms, right? Like, you go for, you know, BR into... You go into BR into boost dash melee a lot, and you confirm boomerang into BC or kicks into BC. I mean B into kicks, right? Like those are good confirms, and you're good at, or you are conscious of them. At least you're getting them pretty consistently. But one of the biggest problems I'm noticing is you have problems confirming basic BRs, and we see a lot of missed opportunities where you land a BR but you don't confirm off of it. So I feel like there's a fuzzy area where you're not sure whether it's gonna hit or not, and then you don't fire another shot or something. And then there's these situations where you pretty much know it's gonna hit, so you just go into your basic B&B. So I would say you should start practicing trying to confirm off of those single BRs, because you drop them a lot. I would say in almost every single one of these matches, you drop at least one BR. Like, you drop at least one BR combo or Zunda or confirm or something. So I would say you should really practice your confirms with BRs. I know it's difficult, but I would just, if you're not already, you know, conscious of it, you really want to focus on that. At the very least, confirming BR into lifter. Good. Okay, well, this was really good, and we covered a lot of stuff. I think that's honestly good enough. I think that's a lot of stuff that we've talked about there. So, you know, I mean, we could just talk for ages just about map awareness. So, you know, we'll leave it at this for now, but I think that's a lot on your plate. So, let's go ahead and go to the next person. Oh, and of course, Burcom, you don't need to thank me. We're doing this for everyone's benefit, right? Okay, I need to plug in my stuff. Okay. Who is next? I believe Imdrax is next. I believe CD is not Imdrax is next. Imdrax is next. Yes. All right. Sorry about this, guys. This will be the last time we take a long time to do this, by the way. This will be the last week of this, I promise. Starting next week, we will be implementing a new system, which will make it much more streamlined. There will be less waiting. Let me just grab all this stuff. Okie dokie. So I believe we're looking at Indrax's stuff. Look at this. Okie dokie. PS3 games are region free. Exact P for you. Yes, CD, yours will be the last. After this, we're gonna do CDs, and that's the last one. So. Doke. So by the way, guys, if you're not familiar, we've been doing a certain event starting last week, which is a Road to Evo Danisen. And it's primarily Gundam with also some other games, I believe. But so far it's been every Friday, and starting with last Friday. It's a really awesome event where it's basically casuals with a ranking system. So if you like playing Gundam, you want to get better, and you want kind of interesting ranking system to keep you motivated and gauge, help you gauge whether you're improving or not, I definitely suggest participating in it. It's even got awesome prizes for the winners. So like the highest ranked person is going to get $75 for towards Evo and a free room at Evo. So if you're thinking about going to Evo and you're really like short on cash, I highly recommend checking it out. It's a really big incentive, and it's, you know, Cody and Jimmy and a lot of other people have put a lot of work into making it really awesome. So definitely check it out. There's a thread on the forum, so if you haven't signed up for the forum, please feel free to sign up and check it out to participate. Alright, these are Drax's replays. It's a lot. I'm gonna look at Drax's... actually, he may have some comments here, doesn't he? Let me go ahead and take a look at this. Alright, so Drag says he needs some help on Gelgoog, Sazabi, and Turne. Okay. He says the Turne was like with someone who was red-orange with me, so the lag was somewhat of an issue, so I'm just gonna probably skip that. So I will skip some of these then. So Gelgoog and Sazabi, huh? Okay. Oh, this isn't yours? Whose are these then? Hold up. This is what you... Oh, wait. No, it's not. Whose are these? How did I get these? Okay, well, I'll go ahead and just try this again. Oops. Okay, let me just try this again. Also, touching on those Burger King matches while we're connecting and all this other stuff, I forgot to mention, so one more small thing that it's not really that big of a deal, so it's not really important to mention, but I will say it anyways while we're waiting here, is that, you know, matchup-wise against a suit like Meepy, or sorry, against a suit like F91 that has a very powerful tool like Meepy, you do want to practice getting used to reacting as soon as he throws it up. Are you sure, Imdax? You might have sent me the wrong stuff. Well, I'll try this again. Anyways, so you do want to get used to kind of reacting as soon as the Meepy goes up, because the slower you react to the Meepy, and the more you accidentally, quote-unquote, commit to trying to hit Meepy as it throws the Meepy up, trying to hit F91 as he's throwing the Meepy up, the more honest time you're wasting, and you're just playing into his hands, right? You want to give him as little as he wants as possible, so, you know. So you do want to practice being aware as soon as he throws it up. Alright. Let's try this again. Okay. Copying it over. Let's hope this works. Let's see if this is right. No, Drax, I think you sent me the wrong replays. I think you sent me the wrong replays because these are the same ones. It's okay. Whoopsies. I accidentally unlocked. How do I... Oh, I see. You only have the locked ones. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I guess we'll just go ahead and look at CDs then. Whoops. Well, we can watch this while I load up everything else. Now feel free to watch this replay while I load everything up. I'll even put it in this really wonky perspective so you can watch from a very weird angle. Alright. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Elfin, please. Alright, I'm still copying this over. Watch another replay. I'm almost done. Here, watch this replay. Let's see here. Alright. The arc? The arc. The hell is that? Alright. Why is it called the Ark? Alright. Let's try this again. Alright. Finally, let's try this again. Okay, so we are looking at CDs, replays, and let's see. Let me see what he wrote. He says, I appreciate if you could review all the live replays, but I realize you're often short on time. Well, this is... we can watch a good amount of them. Also note the second arcade replay is making the best of a really bad situation, so I really want to know how I can do better when put in a situation like that. Second arc replay. I don't know what the second one is. I don't know if it's this one or this one. Well, they both lose, so... let's go ahead and just watch this arcade play, because arcade is his main. So we'll just go ahead. Second one from the bottom. Okay. Well, we can just watch them. Sure. Let's just watch this one first. Second one. Well, actually, I guess it's the second regardless, because it's second from the top and second from the bottom. So we'll just watch this second one. Yeah. So let's just watch the second one. Alright, so RK and AJ are playing against Sean and Alex. Oh, Sean and Lark in one of my favorite comps ever, which is double heavy arms. This is like a really hilarious comp. Oh, I don't know why Lark didn't punch there, but I guess he still gets the punch. That was pretty nice and lucky. That's pretty funny too. Okay. So he died second. Problem. That was really odd. I don't know why, I don't know why Sean got hit there. It's really weird. Well, this is pretty unfortunate for CD. Is there like lag or something? Maybe there's like red bar or something. Okay, so well, obviously the first problem was you died second. And, why did you die second? Well, your overall approach was not really in line. This looked laggy, because I saw like half boost landings that like people got hit when they shouldn't have. So I was pretty like Sean like got hit like 2 or 3 times when he shouldn't have. I'm pretty confused. There were a couple really weird points where I'm wondering if it was like lag or something. In any case though, so you died second. That's pretty much the biggest problem. Overall, it seems like you don't have much matchup experience against heavy arms in general, so you need to respect rocket vectors more, and you tend to just like run into rockets because you're not respecting them enough. Overall, it's kind of hard to say because their combat is so wonky. Yours is really wonky too, but you know, you just need to play a little bit more aggressively and honestly, like, because it's heavy arms. A lot of people play heavy arms. Alex plays heavy arms. Alex plays heavy arms, and like you know, like Sean Lark and I also like sub heavy arms. Yeah, like you just got hit by rockets a lot, and you need to learn how to not get hit by them, which means like respect their curve. You have to watch heavy arms and see whether he's doing charge shot 4, 5, or 6B, and also be aware when he's using his sub rockets, because the sub rockets have different tracking too. Well, you can always ask Alex for casuals. He's pretty like down to play, so you know, he's probably like the best. He's definitely like the best American heavy arms player. So no reason why you wouldn't want to just like ask him for casuals or whatnot. What was I saying? Anything else I want to say? Well, I kind of need to watch. This is like really weird. Actually, maybe we shouldn't have watched this first because it's just like a weird comp, so I can't tell how much of this is like what you normally do and what you do because you're playing against like double 2K with a 2K. It's like hard, so we'll watch. Is there like... I see, there are no arcade matches where you're not playing with the 2K. That's kind of awkward. But I suppose we'll watch... Okay, MDrax, sure. I suppose we'll watch the other ones. Honestly, I would say your use of boost is really inefficient, and you tend to like utilize a lot of arcs like charge shot and special shot cancels, which are okay, but it ends up putting you pretty vulnerable. And what happens is like your offensive rhythm gets thrown off because of it, because you're spending a lot of like time in the neutral game where you just have to land and not do anything safe. This is the same matchup, but you guys win instead. So also we want our green lock here. We want to make sure, yeah, like, you know, a lot of these charge shot A's are just not really accomplishing anything. That's a nice happy accident though. That's good. But I think one of the biggest things I'm seeing that you need to work on is your green lock consciousness, because you're really not conscious of like when you're green locking. You just tend to draw a lot of stuff and it's basically pointless. So, like, yeah, it's gonna hurt. So one of the biggest things. Ah! So we really need to activate there. We really wanted an activate there. You're conscious of it. Well, of course you're conscious of it. It's not like you don't know when you're red and when you're green, but your spacing is off. So I would just suggest working on your spacing a bit. Yeah, because it's proven to be kind of a pretty big weakness in your overall pressure. What's up, Ultra Shingon? So the other thing is, I don't think I recall seeing good use of it in the other game. Is your activation timing is a little bit weird. I don't know if like you're actually going for for fulls or something, but yeah, it's pretty awkward. There's no reason why you didn't activate there. Instead, now if Gundam were to die in this situation, then you'd be put in a pretty sticky situation. Yeah, like so in that matchup, well, in general, like CSA and it's not AB, it's AC. CSA and AC are not so good against a lot of suits that have big map presence. So they're not really they're not very good against suits that have strong, you know, neutral game basically. And they're okay. They're okay. Well, here's the thing, CD, is you use them a lot to just throw them out, but I think what you're missing is the value of just not doing that. Because in a lot of these situations, if you just, instead of spending a lot of time canceling into things that like won't hit or anything, and then putting yourself at like 5% boost all the time, if you just put yourself at 50% boost instead and then chose to land or just, yeah, do the same thing but have more boost and be closer, you'd be in a better situation. Especially against a comp like Heavy Arms, like double Heavy Arms, you just need a knockdown. You just need a knockdown, and you don't want to play this like icky neutral game. You're actually just you're kind of playing into their hand by sitting there and just running around in like overheat or near overheat all the time, because you're just gonna get hit by random missiles like all the time. So you know you definitely need to change up your game plan in this matchup for sure, if not just in general. Yeah, so 6B is good, right? So this is okay activate, right? I mean, the other one would have been better, but it's fine. Right? Yeah, 6BC, let's do it. So now it's pretty easy, right? Don't know about this. So why did that happen? Let's rewind. So it was not that the BC, it was not that he did a BC in overheat. It was why did he do a BC in overheat? And the reason why he did a BC in overheat was earlier in the exchange, he threw out an AC and then an AAA, which like had 0 chance of hitting him, and then continued to pursue, and thus put him in an overheat position. And that led to him having to YOLO 6BC. So the YOLO 6BC there was fine because, well, I mean, it wasn't fine, but it's not really the problem. The problem was getting in that situation of the overheat in the first place, which is like you were too far away to do anything. So you know the real problem was you wasted boost, which with AC. So it was honestly just the AC. It wasn't gonna accomplish anything. You know, as a result, you died from it, and you know, that was a pretty big problem because you ate a full end sub. So it's like a really nice thing for Hegon because they really want to see that. It's really gross. Yeah, 6B, just do it. Yeah, meaty 6B is strong. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so really, though the AC and CSA usage really needs to be tweaked a bit, because it's really putting a damper in your overall neutral game. Especially, like, I mean, maybe it's like okay against a team like, I don't know, Master X1 or something, but, or not even, maybe like double red frame or something like that. Not even, maybe like double dragon or something, you know. But I think we haven't watched this one yet, so we'll watch this one. But you know, yeah, it's just not really gonna achieve anything. You're just basically giving yourself big gaps in your neutral game. Oh, AJ. So even this, I mean, this is like a big problem, and that didn't achieve anything. Like, you know, ACCSA and boost hop, and you're at 5%. You know, it's just not where you want to be. You're not, you know, you're not really like tall geese. You can't really afford to just, you know, end neutral like that. It's really quite a big problem. That's okay. You know, I'm okay with that. You know, you got hit, but you know, that's all right. Yes, kind of needed to do it. That's unfortunate though. But 6 BC is quite good. So here, I hope you know about the other guy. You don't. That's so actually, you know, who is it? So Freedom there actually wasn't a really good opportunity to sneak attack you. It looks like you didn't notice it, but that actually could have been really, really risky. Now, luckily, it looks like your partner was, you know, on him, but yeah, that could have been really sticky because, I mean, you didn't on-angle attack, so it would have been really gross. Looks like, ow, ow, ow. That's painful. Yeah, so this business, yeah. Yeah, so health, right? So you're already at like 300. Yeah, if you got Garrett, you should have like died from a Garrett there, to be quite honest. But yeah. So that's nice. Like you can still win now because you got that 6 BC. Ah, no. Yeah. So my overall comments so far. First of all, you know, it'd be nice to see you play some less against and with some less weird comps because Arc plus 2K is like a little different. My biggest the biggest thing I'm gonna say is it seems like you don't know how to play the mid-range game. Your close range game is like okay, and like you kind of have a good understanding of how to play the far range game, but you seem very, very uncomfortable with the mid-range game, and you kind of destroy your own plans because it seems like every time you get into the mid-range, you just throw out AC, CSA, and then like get back out. And as RK, that is really like not gonna work out because you are basically like you jump in and you hope that they fucked up because when they mess up you can steal a landing or something, but when people are just moving safely against that kind of approach, what happens is you just don't accomplish anything and you don't really accomplish anything. So while like a strategy like, you know, using CSA and AC in the mid-range and then backing out if they tried to, you know, if it didn't work, it's okay against maybe a lower level play. It's really, really weak when the opponents actually, you know, don't make big neutral game blunders. Because if they don't make big neutral game blunders, that kind of stuff is just literally has zero impact. And the only thing you're doing is forcing yourself to put on Verniers and then having to waste more boosts to cancel out of it. And what happens is you get put into a lot of situations where you accidentally get shot, or you have to run away and get like really low on boost and end the neutral exchange like really low. And the big problem with that also is you don't really help your partner with that. Like you don't really achieve anything for your partner other than just being a body that gets shot at. So you don't really create any opportunities for your partner at the same time. And you know, most of the time when you are successful, yes, so CD voice is something that a lot of players have problems with when they play a suit like RK, which is he says, yeah, the middle range is something that's really hard for me because if I'm not constantly throwing stuff out, I feel like I'm not doing enough. And that's actually honestly the the key to being successful with a suit like RK is understanding, and I've spoken about this before about playing melee suits, is the power of doing nothing. It's probably one of the best things you can do as Arc is actually do nothing. Because doing something as Arc is really risky and it generally is just outright bad. What's up, Stickbug? So, you know, so... Loni, you watched the episode? It's hella good. So, you know, my immediate, you know, doctor's advice immediately is stop using CSA and AC entirely, and you will get better. If you just, in the mid-range, do not use AC and CSA at all, and stick with it, you will get better. Because you just need to learn about how to do nothing. And if you're constantly just throwing out AC and CSA, you will not really learn anything. This will basically continue. Like a match like that it'll look like that forever and ever eternally, because it's like your set play is just kind of broken right now. Your set play, like if you rewatch this kind of replays, the only times that CD really hits somebody is either when his partner created opportunity, they got a knockdown, or he got in really close and somebody made a mistake somewhere, right? If you actually watch his neutral game loses, like, you know, his neutral game's not working, basically. His neutral game is just not working. It worked okay in that first match we watched, but it looked like it was kind of laggy because he just got a lot of AAs that hit, even though they definitely should have been blocked or sidestepped. So I don't know if, like, it looked like Sean was not getting either his blocks or his sidesteps out correctly, or something weird like that, because he definitely was landing, like, with a lot of boost, but for some reason, like, even really far away, it was, you know. So anyway, so even the stuff I said about red lock, green lock spacing and stuff like that, or activate timings, those are things you should work on, but they are still, you know, insignificant compared to your overall neutral game, which I would just say is actually kind of backwards right now. So I would say the fast advice is don't use AC or CSA at all, and try and try and understand the benefits to doing that. Then you can start understanding when it's actually worth using AC and CSA. In other words, TLDR, you shouldn't be playing by doing CSA and AC unless otherwise. It should be do anything else unless there's a good reason to use CSA and AC. They are not tools that you should always throw out. They are tools that have a specific purpose, and it looks like you throw them out without meaning. So they are useful in some situations, but they're actually pretty situational, and a lot of time when we watch these kind of matches, you just kind of throw them out and they don't accomplish anything other than waste your boost. And while it may feel useful because you're throwing stuff out, they're actually quite ass at doing any kind of, you know, map presence, because people just look at them and they just don't do anything about it. Yeah, they're just really, really bad. They're really bad, to be honest. And it's very, very alluring to use them because, you know, Arc has really cool cancel windows. He has some of the coolest, like, cancel paths in the game. It's a pity that all those moves are actually really bad. So it feels fun to use, and, like, to some extent you can win with them, and they do well, especially against people who don't know how to avoid. No, see, that's the problem, CD, is it doesn't make people use extra boost. They're really bad. So, like, and the problem is it's like a bad trade for you, because you need more boost than they do, because you're the one trying to get in, because you're not a keep away suit. You're not even a mid-range suit, really. You're like a mediocre mid-range / close range suit. Like, you have those bad mid-range tools, basically. So yes, it can force them to use boost sometimes, depending on the situation, but most of the time, unless it's in the situations like I'm talking about, which you actually need to learn how to apply, it's not worth it for you, actually. It's just not a good trade. I mean, Tallgeese Freedom is not that good of a team. It's not really, you know, 3K, 2.5K. You know, it's double 2.5K, and, you know, it's Tallgeese Front, which is pretty good, but, you know, I mean, it's not Tallgeese Quanta, right? So, you know, this team that, you know, we're playing against is not really that amazing. It's just a team that presses buttons when you're far away and then fucks you up, right? And our team's not that bad either, right? RK Heavy Arm's not really that bad. But the problem is, you know, you can't really accomplish anything if you're just jumping around throwing CSA and AC all day. You're just not going to do anything. You will just eventually get hit by stuff and die. And they can sit there and watch you run away and do that all day. They can just do that all day. So, you know, it's really up to you to create opportunities, and the opportunities happen in the mid-range. So what's really happening is you're foregoing your opportunities by looking for opportunities. It is annoying. Yeah, it's an annoying comp, but it's not really super terrible, because honestly, Arc has much more of a problem against like a 3K. So, you know, they actually, boost-wise, it could be a lot worse. You could be playing against any 3K plus Tallgeese. And that's you know, you could be playing against, you know, anything. DX Tallgeese or DX Freedom would be more problematic than this. So, you know, so you will definitely feel this more in as you play against harder comps. I will also say that, yes, you're playing front, so we really need to see your RK play with a 3K or a better 2.5K than you to gauge your back play. But and so, you know, CSA and AC, they're better when you're playing back, but here they are just suicide. It's actually, you know, suicide, basically, pressing those buttons. All right. Let's see. Let's see. So that's we'll watch some Blue Destiny. I guess we'll watch the newest ones first. So, you know, the thing about Blue Destiny is, you know, it's actually pretty boring to comment because usually you're just playing really safe. So we'll try and talk about spacing here, is what I'm gonna try and focus as we watch these matches. Is spacing and partner spacing and partner cooperation, yeah, and map awareness and those kind of things. So, because movement's really easy with whatchamacallit. So green lock, right? Again, green lock. So corner. So boosting to the right here. Again, we just watched this with Burger Kong, but again, I don't want to say forcing, but what's the word here? Guiding your opponent, or sorry, guiding your partner towards the corner is not so good. You say you're following your partner, but being here as opposed to being one boost to the left is actually you're not really following him any less, because where is he gonna go? Yeah. So it's okay because you're moving out, but you know, I will nitpick about that because it's there's no reason. Yeah. Ooh. So another thing I'll say in terms of movement is you want to practice doing more boost main jump rather than boost main land, because you're having a lot of problems like partitioning your main shots because they're kind of ending, you're like canceling them into land too early because you're doing just like boost main. The boost main, you actually dropped a confirm one time because of that. So I will recommend that you try and learn to partition your jump as you're doing your on angle machine gun as you boost. So you get a boost machine gun and then you rise so that it actually lengthens your machine gun. It's a really useful tool for getting your MG out on time. Helps you really get a strong confirm into a knockdown or just a better cut. Or just in general better pokes. So yeah, that was kind of ugly, but that's okay. Ah! Ah! So vectors, right? Vectors here. I would activate. Well, you still got it, but that's an okay activate too. He gets knocked down though, but so on angle, you know, so on angle, you got hit there not because pressing assist was a bad idea. It forced your vernier for a split second. Sorry, why did I say on angle? I meant vernier. I sometimes interchange them because they pretty much cause the same problem. But yeah, so you know, a good rule of thumb is to try and think about whether your opponents are trying to attack back. Turn X is facing you as he's getting up there, so you should not assume he's just trying to run away. And you know, be respectful of the fact that he's going to attack back there. Doing an assist in that kind of situation is really basically saying, "Hey, I don't think you're going to attack back." So really be aware that that's the kind of call you're making when you press AC there. Yeah, good. You get that melee. Woo! Good, good. You can also cancel your fast fall into machine gun. So I highly recommend always getting into the habit of it because there's no real reason not to as long as you're in red lock, which you would have been with heavy arms. So you can actually fall with the slide into main just for extra stuff. There's really no reason not to, so I highly recommend doing that. So this is ugly. What is this? Is this a sub? Oh no, this okay, never mind, okay. It's okay. But you know, being a little, I feel like you're not, yeah, so you know. Yeah, if you hold it down like too long, you like hover there, but generally it's pretty useful. So you overcost them, so it ended up being a pretty easy match, but you know, you took a lot of damage that really could have been avoided. And I will say, you know, I will say a lot of it feels like you're not very conscious of the fourth player. Are there some other? Let's see. Well, we watched against double heavy arms, so let's see. What is this against? Togisa. Oh, that's who's Dark Kraken? That's Bitch Bon Voyage. Oh, that's interesting. Double 2K with Sean as GPO2. Oh, okay, here. I want to watch this because you're playing with a 3K here, so let's watch this since it's double 3 with 3K 2K, yeah. So anyways, before we start, let me just recap what I just typed about that last match. So, your fourth player sense is you know, could use some work. So do try and work on that fourth player sense because a lot of times I don't really get very much of a sense that you're paying attention to that fourth player much, and your decisions also don't really reflect being very aware of that fourth player. So do try and work on that a bit more. And I would say, like, with this suit, the thing that you should start getting used to is partitioning your hops and stuff so you get longer machine gun arcs, right? Because your movement with him is actually a little bit clunky, and you want more long, streamlined MG shots because MG is just like amazing with this suit. And right now you have a lot of hiccups in your movement. So I'd try and be conscious of preventing yourself from landing when you don't want to. It's a problem with the suit like Blue Destiny, and it's very individual to Blue Destiny-ish suits where you actually kind of are paying attention to like when you land so it doesn't interrupt the flow of your pressure, right? So we'll take a look at this and talk a bit more about it. Good, so that's alright, right? So swerving. Swerving. So you definitely need to swerve more. I didn't really comment on it in the previously, but oh, definitely swerving. So you're taking a lot of damage now. I mean, your partner is pretty low, but so are you, so you do need to watch out a bit. Woo! Okay, that's good. Good. So swerving, yeah, so you didn't really need to do that, and now, I mean, I guess you have it back, so not a big deal. Yeah, that was kind of YOLO. You haven't activated though. That's good. Yeah, that sucks. But, you know, it's not the end of the world. Road exam. Yeah, so definitely swerving. Yeah, so you could have jumped there basically. So this is yeah. I don't think like Lark and Sean do it that much, but you really need to respect Heavy Arms more, especially when you're going for melee, because Heavy Arms 8B will just shut down all of that melee. Even if you were close enough to melee there, if he just did 8B, then you would have just gotten bodied for free. So it doesn't seem like they really 8B that much, but it only happened a couple times, so you know, I mean, whoever was the Heavy Arms there in that scenario was doing fine anyways, just running away. So what is swerving? I will do the rare thing, which is normally I go over stuff in training mode like after the day, or after the actual second impact stuff. But because this is so important, somebody asked me to review it. It's much easier to just show rather than... It is 5,000 times easier to show rather than explain. It doesn't really matter, whatever anything else is. So many people, including CD, and all of us, use a very common movement pattern, which is boost hop, right? And we will do something like this, right? What's up, Metal Gear? So, you know, someone's attacking us in red log, we're gonna boost away and hop out. And we land about face, which means we cannot do this. Ooh, we get something very ugly. And yeah, we can correct this like this, or something. But there's a much easier method, which is this. Yes, it is one of the strongest defensive options that that Blue Destiny has, and it turns a defensive maneuver into a counterattack opportunity. And this maneuver will actually pretty much punish anything somebody tries to do that has a good amount of risk to it. So it's very easy to do. All you need to do is while boosting and hopping, you hold forward, and you don't even have to really bend it. You just hold forward, honestly. Yeah, it's really, really easy. This is really important because it also corrects certain things like this. So we need to correct like this so that we do not get off angle because, whoopsies, how did a BC come out? Because if we do this, we start to get off angle here if they start moving to the right. So swerving is really, really important. It is practically free as long as you meant to do it. So anytime you move like this, you should always be correcting. Always. You should always, at least a little bit, be scooting. It does have to do with rotating the stick, but if you're just trying to turn a little bit, you can just tap in a direction. So for this, I actually just tap left. So there's two kinds of swerving. This is the jump swerve. There's also this kind of swerving. So this kind of swerving, Blue Destiny's is not very. It's okay, right? And this kind of swerving is universal, and you guys should all be doing this. I've talked about this before, right? So this is the normal kind of swerving I talk about. But the one I'm talking about for CD has to do with suits like Delta Plus and Blue Destiny are the two main ones that pour it out because they have like these on-angle MGs and of course heavy arms. So it allows you to do things like, for example, I'm looking at Wing, but Wing does not want to attack me. I know based on my radar that somebody on my somebody on the bottom left needs to be covered, so I can do this. Oh, actually, hold up. Well, that's actually not a good example. What's a good example of this? For example, you can do something like this, which is I may boost to Wing, but then I might decide instead that I'm going to attack the person who's chasing me from behind, so we can do this. It's green lock, but it's a really nice maneuver. Yeah, it's a really nice maneuver. So obviously it wouldn't be green lock if it was pursuing us or if the spacing was different. So even something, oopsies, I fucked up. My bad. I did not hold it long enough. So this kind of maneuver is quite strong. I mean, this is kind of more about how to play this suit, which I kind of like avoiding. But for those of you who are trying to learn fundamentals, this does carry over to everything else. So if you are just trying to do a BD, it is honestly a good strategy for any suit. It's just amazingly good when you're Blue Destiny. It's pretty much the thing you should be doing all the time. Like, it's so good. It's so good because it basically just is the big hand in front of their face for so many suits. They just try and shut you down. You're just no, heavy arms too. It's really, really good. And anybody who plays these kind of suits long enough will understand and agree just how powerful this basic suit is for. So swerving is used for also for conserving on angle. So it's also used for conserving spacing. It's a little clunky with whatchamacallit. It's a little clunky with Blue Destiny because his swerve is a little bit slow, but it's generally really useful for movement adjusting. You can get nice things like that because otherwise you have to do a long hold like this, whereas if you swerve and then hop, you only have to adjust a little bit and you're on angle. So it has to do with being on angle is the main benefit of swerving. It's also good for preserving your vector. So if you're boosting like this towards the camera and someone's shooting at you, well, all you need to do is swerve and you don't have to spend 2 boosts because this is a lot. Oopsies, sorry. This is a lot easier to do than like to avoid a single shot. It's just a lot more boost conservant. So we want to make sure we do that when we need to. It's also worth knowing that you can do side steps too, so this is useful. So that's, you know. Oh, oopsies, I didn't have them sound help. Anyways, I think that's pretty straightforward. So, you know, both kinds of swerving are extremely important for intermediate level play. Just, you know, especially with a suit like Blue Destiny. Blue Destiny is pretty much all you need to do to play Blue Destiny is have a good set of fundamentals about on angle, and you can play Blue Destiny very well. Blue Destiny is a very easy, friendly suit to pick up, provided you have a good sense of on angle. Once you have a good sense of on angle and what you can do while on angle, this suit has infinite options. It's a just very strong suit. I mean, it's not top tier, but it plays pretty solidly considering how easy it is to play. Because everything he does is safe. He's just like really safe suit, really safe. Because this suit is, you can attack and defend at the same time very easily. Good. Okay, so I've been talking for a while now, and we've covered a lot of topics. So I may end it early here because I have a lot of errands I want to do today. So I kind of want to like end today's stream a little earlier than normal. And the ones that I didn't get to today or previously, I would like to move them to next week because that way, whatchamacallit, that way I can, what's the word? Oh, I forgot about Imdraxes. Okay, we'll look at Imdraxes. Okay, we'll look at Imdraxes. Alright, Imdraxes will be the last one then. Let's put the lovely background music on. Actually, no, you guys can just watch a replay. So, what's a replay we haven't watched yet while I go ahead and switch? I don't think we watched this. We can watch him playing within the 3K too. This is good. Alright. So, while this goes on, we can watch it from CD's perspective too while I change up the files. We will be moving over to a new system for viewing replays starting next week, so that's one of the reasons why I don't mind stopping a little early today, because that way we can watch the other ones in a nice, happier format, which will basically allow me to rewind them and such and so forth. So, let me go ahead and grab these other replays. Oh, there's one more thing I forgot to mention, by the way, CD. So the last thing, again, minor compared to all the other things, which is your use of your assists is also not well timed. It seems like you throw it out without really gauging the situation. Honestly, I think just this again kind of transfers over to your arcade play, but one of the biggest things I think I really suggest you work on more is being conscious of the negative results of forcing Vernier, because you tend to throw these assists out at kind of awkward times that force your Vernier when you don't want them to, and it, you know, it leads to kind of weird situations, or, you know, force you to spend more boosts. So you really do want to throw out your assists more when you don't have to worry about being fired at. So I feel like sometimes you're not really paying attention to whether you're being fired on or not when you throw out the assists. Similarly, like watching the way people move and throwing them out when they're actually going to do something, because it feels like you throw out a lot of assists when they literally have zero impact on the match. So your assist isn't very good. I mean, it's not, so, you know, it's not, your AC assist, cancel it right away. You tend to just boost dash cancel it. I generally don't see you like canceling into it from anything except boost dash. And like, yeah, so that's canceling into boost dash. That's not. I mean, we can say the same thing about any move that has vernier. It's not really the point. It still has startup. It still causes vernier. Even when you boost dash out of it, it's still got a penalty to it. And, well, most importantly, it still takes some boost. And it takes that boost from that boost dash cancel. So you're still wasting boost with it. So it's not really good. That's not really good rationale to use it the way you are. I would say, you know, one of the things that would be useful is watching your replays and just going back and saying, did this assist do anything? Could I have done anything else? And usually the answer will be yes, you could have landed. But, you know, you tend to throw out assists like at the end of exchanges, like when things have been sold and that assist ends up going off nowhere land. And I would recommend trying to throw it out earlier in exchanges when you actually want to use them as cover fire, rather than kind of awkwardly either in the middle or the end when it doesn't seem like they're going to accomplish a lot. I never see you throw out assist and then just land also, which is like a weird thing to do. And you tend to just like throw them up at the apex of your jump, which is also, you know, not so good. For multiple reasons. One being like you're at the apex of your jump means like you could fall for free, and so you choose not to by canceling into assist. That's just a waste of time, boost, and momentum. It's just a kind of unfortunate sacrifice that you unnecessarily need to make. It's also time when you could be shooting your machine gun, and honestly your machine gun is just going to be better than your assist. So a lot of times I see you just spending a lot of time not firing your machine gun because you're boost jobbing, and then you do like sub, boost dash, you know, AC, and then you do like BC hop, and like you have that stuff out, but you didn't actually accomplish anything with it, and they just go off into nowhere land because someone randomly sidestepped in the last 10 seconds, you know. So, you know, like, you know, most of the time MG is just going to be better. So if you're going to assist instead of MG, there should be a reason for it. That's why you'll see a lot of people throw out your assist like right after you land. Like you land and then you're like, okay, AC boost and land again, and now you have an AC assist firing and you have your boost at full, and then you can boost jump in MG and you have something else covering you, or, you know, something like that. Well, CD, the point is MG is like better at covering people than assist is. Like, assist, you shouldn't have to sacrifice one or the other. Like, you spend just a lot of boost. I think like my main advice I would give you that would correct a lot of your issues, while forcing you to do other things at the same time that would kill more than 2 birds with 1 stone, is just practice never being at like less than 40% boost, because you tend to just like spend a lot of boost and not accomplish anything with it in most of the matches with both characters. So if you play under the rule of like 40% boost and up, then you won't do very many assists, because, you know, one boost hop into an assist into a boost is like 40% or 30%. So, you know, so try that. I think you'll get a lot better just doing that. That's just a general rule of thumb for anybody, but most newer players, I don't give that rule to them, because they do need to know what they're supposed to do with all of their boosts. They need to know what their options are. You, on the other hand, your case is different. Your case is you know what options are available to you. You're choosing improper ones and sticking with them for the wrong reasons. So we want to just correct that. Good. So let's go ahead and switch over. Actually, no, I'm still in the middle of transferring this. My apologies. Or did we transfer this already? Okay, let me just try again, just in case. Whoopsies. I'll resume this.
こちら隼人、これより援護します。落とす、当たり、落とす。呼吸。アタックで狙撃します。そこ。オッケー。一発でやってやる。コックピットに資金が。僕の言い分だって聞いてくれても。銀河の隊、撤退する。
Another quick, easy. I've also suggested. I've suggested this multiple times. I've made multiple different suggestions of ways to quickly correct a lot of things, like just play like A or play like B or play like C. So another one I'll suggest that you can try as a different game plan that will forcibly correct a lot of things for you is try playing in a way that makes you take 0 damage. Because that's one of the things you can do as as Blue Destiny. You can actually pretty much play an almost perfect game because of how good his movement is. You're not really utilizing it, so I feel like if you just practice taking 0 damage, which forces you to play a lot safer, you will get better. Just try and play, and if you ever take any damage, no matter what's happening, you should be like, I fucked up. Because that's honestly how it is a lot of time with Blue Destiny. The only time Blue Destiny players really take damage is when they need to make a sacrifice that's worth it based on like a cut or something. The rest of the time you can just like move around and punish people and nobody can really do anything about it. The only real weakness is, you know, Envy's a little hard to cut with and, you know, hard to get downs with, and he doesn't really have any lackluster tools other than that. Are you supposed to boost hop at the end of a swerve? Not necessarily, it just depends on whether you want to jump or not. So Blue Destiny's red alert range, like, it doesn't matter though, like, you don't need to stay far away. So Crimson Dream, like, you're interpreting it incorrectly. I don't mean to be far away so you take no damage. I mean play in red lock and take no damage. You can do it. It's very easy. It just will force you to move better. Alright, so Drax want to help with, he said turn A was laggy, so we'll skip that. We'll look at Sinanju and Gelgu. Cool, okay. Alright, black screen. Okay, awesome stage. I love this stage. Yeah, good. So we have some swerving going on. That's good. I mean, we have some face turning. Sorry, I guess I should call it face turning. So that was good. So the one bit you threw off ended up working out quite well. Good, good, good. See, that's really good swerving there. Good. Good, good. Good. So we want to worry about our position. This map is a little iffy, so that's pretty funny that they hit him. So that's a matchup thing, but you do need to what am I saying? You do need to respect Brother. It's really wide. Brother is really wide, so this will happen a lot. This is a very common mistake that happens when you play against Versago for the first many times, actually, which is that Brother's hitbox is really wide. So sometimes it's better to just block it because it's just really wide and you really have to go out of your way to dodge it sometimes. So it happens a lot. So honestly, so don't feel bad about it. I will say just try and like overestimate its hitbox until you're really comfortable with it, or just block. You can block it. Yeah, you can block it. You can block it. Because it's just really big. The hitbox is extremely big. Hey, it's KSK. I didn't know you played this game. Okay. So, okay. Well. Oh, okay. So I don't really know if like your opponents know how to play very well, but so I will say, watch your funnel usage a bit. Sometimes, I'd say you can actually use, whoopsies, sorry. I can say you could actually use your funnels a little bit more liberally, to be quite honest. In a lot of situations, it feels like you're constantly at like 5 or 4. So sometimes you do throw out like a couple at a time, but you're pretty conservative about them, and that's not really. You don't need to be super conservative, especially when you're learning Shinanju. I would actually recommend being a little more liberal, but that doesn't mean do it more. It just means try and still being safe throughout like more than one, just to try it, because I feel like you should just experiment more to try and feel the strength of having more than one funnel out. 2 or 3 is also good, and if you only use one funnel a lot of the time, it's still fine, but it's kind of a waste. You have all those other funnels, so in terms of situation, there's an ebb and flow of battle, so I feel like you should just try and do more funnels. I would say, always make sure when you cancel into funnel that you have a plan to like refill your boost or something, because or you have a plan for those funnels in the exchange that's occurring. Because like these funnels, so here, right? I mean, like, I guess the funnels worked out, but you didn't really have a plan for using them later. It was like you just wanted to use them as a far range attack, in which case maybe just BR would have been just as fine. Whoa, that was really lucky. So like those funnels, right? Your boost is really low, so do be aware it consumes a lot of boost, and yeah, looks like it actually hit him or something, but it was kind of gross. I believe, I actually don't remember whether Shinanju can, but I think you can crouch cancel the camera. Can anybody confirm that for me? Because I don't remember, honestly. You could have boosted one more time before needing to do this, but you get, wow, the O is really fucking that up. Yeah, so when you get knocked down by the O, pay attention to pressure. Try and escape it in case they fuck it up. Do not just sit there like that, because that's bad. So really, like, your funnel usage, like, I'd say the rest, I mean, the people you're playing against look like they're really new and they're just getting hit by a lot of stuff, and your partner is, like, putting in his work too, so it's hard for me to comment on, like, your neutral game in a lot of these matches. So what I will say is your funnel usage is kind of sloppy, and, sometimes it feels like sometimes you're throwing out funnels without meaning. So every time you press a funnel, try and build a plan around it. It's more fun that way, and it's better that way. So every time you press funnel, you should be thinking to yourself, like, how am I going to use these funnels? What is my plan with these funnels? Yeah. There should be a plan. Alright, so now you're gonna play Gelgoog. So first thing I'll say immediately is just throw your assist out all the time. It's really good in almost any situation, and yeah, just throw them all the time. Like right now it'd be perfect. Right now it would be great. You still haven't thrown it out, so I think you're just not used to it. So Lala assist all the time. First thing about this dude, holding down B all the time. Lala assist every single time it's up. Good. See, good. I would say there would have been nicer to confirm into spear, but this is okay. Try not to use raw spear. Raw spear is only good in these really specific, amazing situations where your opponent will get salty for doing it. Otherwise, spear is... It has like good muzzle correction, but the guidance on it's quite poor. So you really want to hit confirm into it. Just practice doing BR spear. It's like your B&B basically. Okay. So pizza was not coming, but surprised you can get hit by pizza there. Good. You can spear there? Oh, never mind. That's fine too. Oh, you didn't have spear up. Okay. No, cut the landing punish. So, you know, just because your opponent looks like he's finishing his combo on your partner doesn't mean you shouldn't, like, you know, go for him, because I guarantee you can still probably get that Susa there. You can still get Susa there. You also don't know it, but he was doing like 8B, which means it's, other than rainbow stepping it, it's pretty easy to cut because, you know, yeah, because he's doing that, yeah. So I'll also say Illuminates, never do that string. It's usually done in accent because you're trying to do 5B, 8B, but don't do 6B, 8B. It's really bad. So Lala assist here would be really good. This is kind of okay actually too, but yeah, it kind of works out. You get that down tag, this is excellent. You get this punish, I think, right? Oh, you don't get it, but... 6B is amazing. This is Zangetsu. So yeah, so Illuminates, don't use 6B, 8B, it's just really bad. Only use it if you expect to rainbow cancel it out, because that part where he knocks him down in the poses is just really easy to get hit there, so you want to try and avoid that. Generally, I suggest just doing, if you connect with 6B, rainbow step it and just do 5B, because, yeah, 6B is really bad, honestly. I mean, his melees are all really bad and have zero cut ability, but 6B is quite bad. It's, like, slow. Even 5B is better, honestly, so try not to use 6B if you can help it. That's one of the reasons why connecting into disc and ball are better, because Susa's 6B is really ass. So anyways, so what did I want to say there? Again, law assist all the time. Try and practice holding down charge shot B and comboing the charge shot B. The boomerang is not very good, so I noticed you like to use the boomerang. The boomerang is cool, but it's actually really specific, so like, you know, it's good, but be aware of its arc. It's really specific, so, you know, I mean, just if you're gonna use it, just kind of be careful, I'd say, when you use it, and just be careful, because it's not very reliable. It's really not a very good hitbox, and the arc on it's just really wonky. So a lot of time it just, you know, it just doesn't accomplish anything, honestly. Anything else here? What's this? Oh, just Illuminates, you just have to get used to holding down A when you press A. Well, like, the boomerang isn't useless. The boomerang isn't useless, it's just really specific. So it is amazing, but it requires Yomi. It's not a move you can just throw out and expect it to help, basically. If you use the boomerang, you have to have a plan. You have to be like, he's gonna boost here where I know this boomerang is gonna spin, so I'll boomerang here. If you're not actually thinking like that, that boomerang is gonna not do anything. Yeah. That was really, I don't know why you didn't fire there when you're really close, but, you know, it worked out, I guess, sort of. So again, these like really high, Well, I mean, the funnel, the really high funnel is like kind of okay, but it tends to put you in an awkward state. It's similar to my comment with Crimson Dream, which is that, like when you throw your funnel so high up in the air, you lose your falling momentum, which means like you no longer can just fall, which is a waste of boost in time. It also makes it less ambiguous about what you're gonna do, because like, now that you've boosted, everyone knows you're gonna boost again after. I mean, now that you've funneled in the air, everyone knows you're gonna boost in the air now. So everybody goes, "Oh, hey, he wasted boost," and then you're just like automatic target. So like, I mean, look how little boost you are. Like Kumojaki could definitely landing punish that probably. Yeah. I also wouldn't really recommend like the Garobi as an air-to-air. Your Garobi is good, but good. Well, you know, it had to be done, right? Watch out. So, oof, that was hell scary. So you want a landing punch with your Garobi rather than throw it out air to air, because that sucks. But you have assist. Char is laughing. Why did Char laugh there? Why did like he laughed there? Like, I don't really play enough Shinanji, so I'm not really used to sound effects, but yeah. So that's cute, right? Like, I think that's pretty cute. But you know, you funneled on Karadom, so you should try and build a game plan around it rather than switch. Again, funnels are not set and forget tools. I'll stress this again. The funnels are not set it and forget tools. They are at like an intermediate to a low level, but if you want to really get better at the game and get better at funnel suits, you got to really use your funnels the way they are not meant to be played, but the way they work out best, which is not as set and forget tools, but as assists. Just remember, it's an assist. Remember, it's an assist. It's not a set and forget tool. It's an assist. As it assists you, because it's actually much better than an assist. Yeah, so it's good. I like that change. Whoa! So where was the landing punish? Right, like you were ahead on the boost. You threw out some pokes and then he flew in the air. So I don't know why you gave up here, right? I mean, it was free. So try and hold down 2 as well. Oh, this is not looking good now. Your partner has lots of health. So you didn't get landing punished here, but could you see how using those funnels up there was a really risky maneuver because you're so high in the air? It forced so much of your boost, and you know he could have just Garobi'd you and killed you, and right there. Well, it wouldn't have killed you, but it might have. I forgot how much Freedom's Garobi does. I don't think it does 165, 140, 30. I don't know. So you know, maybe it would have killed you. I don't know. So you know, just funnel usage when you're high up here. Just remember, like using any kind of vernier move when you're up in the air is risky, because you have no choice but to boost after it, because you're not just gonna do it and then fall. I mean, you can, but from that height, it's extremely dangerous, and regardless, you're gonna have to boost at some point. So no one's worried about you landing at that point. Basically, like, if you do something that causes verniers up in the air, you're like revealing your card. You're showing your hand to your opponent, basically, because from there's only a couple things you can do. There's only a couple things you can just do, period, unless you're Togis, right? So it's like a no-brainer to everyone else. Funnels are really great right as you take off from the ground, because you can always choose to re-land afterwards. Funnels low to the ground in general is good. Like canceling into the funnel, honestly, just like the lower the better, honestly. Or at the very least, when you have lots of boost. So not when someone is chasing after you. When someone's chasing after you or fighting you and you do it up in the air, that's kind of like a death sentence, unless you have a fancy plan afterwards. In general, I would say kind of use funnels when you have more than 50% boost. Less than 50% boost means you funnel and then you boost and you jump and you're at 0. So like, you know, that funnel, I mean, it might hit him, right? But that was the result, right? So the last minute funnel, you know, the last minute funnel. The last minute funnel is, it can work out if the timing is right and you have a plan. But it doesn't look like you have a plan for it, so it just looks like a desperation funnel because you felt like you wanted to do something. But the biggest thing we want to get rid of, which ties in just with the last person's replays we watched Crimson Dreams, is we want to separate the idea of like doing things for the sake of doing them, right? This is not actually an APM game, unless you're playing certain suits. But some suits, you know, if you want to be fancy and press buttons and feel like you're doing stuff, press the D button. Press the D button. don't press like the other buttons, or press the E button, right? Calm or press D if you want APM with a lot of these suits. Otherwise, you know, again, I will say again, the power of doing nothing is really, really strong. Okay, and it's a really hard habit to break, but you will gain a new sense of freedom and enlightenment and reach nirvana once you understand the power of doing nothing, because you're always doing nothing, which means that the more you understand the strength of, you will feel like you have more options, you know, when you have a better understanding of just how good it is to just fall. Falling is really good. Falling is really good. It's even better in full boost, so, you know, basically buttons need to have meaning. They always have meaning. This is like, you know, this is like, you know, what's a game I can equate this to? I don't know. You know, I mean, it's just like in a fighting game, like you play Street Fighter and you're like whiffing jabs or something, or you're just like doing some random button in neutral, but then like they jump, and if you had just sat there and done nothing, then you could have just, you know, DP'd them, right? You're like Smash, right? Like people, when you're like intermediate level Smash player, you just like roll around all the time, right? You're just constantly moving back and forth and rolling, like, you know, and just pressing a lot of buttons. And some of them are like what I would call option selects, like, you know, you do like a, you know, jump fair, falling fair, and, you know, nothing of value was lost. Sorry, right? But sometimes, you know, like you knock them down instead of, or, you know, you block and you block something, and if you do nothing, you watch your opponent like roll through you. You just do whatever you want, right? Sometimes doing nothing is what allows you to punish stuff. It's a little bit different in this game though, because like doing nothing is safer because of falling. So a lot of time you're just like wasting resources. Kind of like not going in when you have the life lead. All right, so that was a lot of stuff. It is now what, 8? So we've been doing this for like 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours now. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We got to cover a lot of interesting topics today. Just to recap on some stuff that I thought was common and important that we touched on this week. Definitely the map awareness thing. We saw multiple people having problems where they are playing a backsuit and kind of guided their partner back into the corner. So I got to say something which I think is a pretty clear way to explain it, which is when you're a back player, you want to not be baggage, right? You want to make them feel at ease and feel like they can do everything. You don't want to put constraints on them. So almost all of good backplay comes from this idea of supporting your partner and making him feel comfortable. Yeah, not fighting with him. And not fighting with him not just in a friendly fire direct sense, but fighting with him for attention, fighting with him for positioning, fighting with him for locks, and doing all kinds of other stuff, you know. As the back player, you have to yield to him, generally. The front player will yield to you in the sense that he needs to protect you, so he will yield his priority to you. But You need to yield to him in terms of what your team's overall strategy should be. Alright. So yeah, a lot of things involving Verniers today too. So a lot of people, you know, Vernier doesn't feel that bad when you play. Like at the moment, you're just like, I'll throw it out and then cancel. But just do be aware just how vulnerable you are when you're standing still. It might only be for a split second, but when someone shot you, you know, someone shoots at you and you try and do a charge shot A with IJ at the same time, you just get shot in the face, right? So here's the big overall problem with Vernier, or rather the reason why people have problems with it. Because when no one punishes you for it, it doesn't feel like it's bad, right? If no one's looking at you and no one's shooting you, you just throw out the Vernier, you know, you throw out your assist, you boost dash cancel, you land, and no problem. It doesn't really feel bad at all, right? It's only until you get shot at in the middle of doing that thing that you really understand how that subtle, small, split second where you're standing still is all of the difference between getting hit or not. It's really all the difference. And this is actually a very intuitive thing that you guys do as well from the other end, you just don't realize it, right? So Imdrax, right? Imdrax did a Garaby a lot in the air, right? He's just like, oh, random Garaby, right? Do you have any idea why he's Garabying there? And don't just say, don't just say he just wants to do it, right? Imdrax might not realize it, but he's doing it for a specific reason, and it's probably a habit he has. It's not necessarily a bad one. He may not understand what he's aiming for, but does anybody have any inkling of an idea of what that Garaby's supposed to hit? Because it's supposed to hit something. What's it supposed to hit? I know someone knows the answer. I already said the answer earlier, so... So my question, well, I'll repeat it for formally. My question was, Imdrax will randomly in the air with Shinanju several times. We saw him just randomly Garaby, and I said that's not necessarily a bad thing, but whether he realizes it or not, he's aiming to punish a certain thing. And I'm saying, what is he aiming to punish? What is one of the things? There are like 2 to 3 different things. So it's not landing because he's doing it air to air, so it's actually not landing. That's the thing I want him to do. I want him to do more Garaby landings, but he's not... Oh, did I say Sazabi? Or Shinanju? Sorry, Sazabi, thank you. So that's the thing I want him to do more of, which is more landing punish Garabys. So yeah, Shinobi, that's right. That's what he should be doing, right? But he does these air-to-air Garabys. They're not necessarily bad, but they have risk, which is why I'm not saying that, you know, they're really good. That's why there are some problems with them, but they're not necessarily bad because they're aiming to punish something. And does anybody have an idea of... Yes! Yes, Phalog, exactly. He's aiming to punish someone's Vernier move. Because he wants to throw that Garaby out right as they're standing still because they're turning around shotting, or they're throwing an assist up, or they're doing a Garaby, or they're doing a really slow shot, or a BZ, or anything else that causes you to stand still for a split second, right? So whether or not Imdrax realizes it, he is punishing those Verniers too. And a lot of you people are. Whenever you're in the air and you do kind of like a slow YOLO move, that's actually generally what you're aiming for. You're aiming for them to just try and do a Vernier move, which is similar to what Fomi said about carelessness, right? He's aiming to do that, right? Right? And same thing with charge shot A's and all this stuff, right? Whenever you see, if you punish something, it's always good. So that Garaby is good if they actually Verniered, but when they don't Vernier, it becomes a pointless risk that you took and you got hit. So trying to aim for a Vernier punish is not necessarily bad, but you need to be aware of it, right? So I'm actually not, I don't stress this. I don't say, oh, you should really, like, you know, Yomi that they're gonna Vernier here and then do this, right? That's kind of like a Yomi thing, and it's a little bit fuzzy. It's, you know, it's not, we're not the level, a lot of these people are not, it's not important enough to bring up yet, right? I brought it up big time with Burger Kong because Burger Kong, it's one of like Burger Kong's more glaring problems, right? Is his use of Charge Shot A. But some people, it's, you know, not as big of a deal, so I don't really talk about that much, right? But just do be aware. So my point is, what is my point? My point is, whether or not even you people realize it, you are also aware of the weakness of Vernier and you are punishing it or aiming to, whether you realize it or not. Because anytime you're doing like certain moves that most people are doing, you're actually secretly aiming to punish their Vernier turnaround shot or something wonky like that. You just may not be realizing it. So when you yourself are doing Vernier moves, I want you to really realize that you realize how bad it is from the other side. You know how bad opponents are when they do their Vernier. Like, you realize that's a problem and you're trying to aim for it, right? But when you're on the other side and you're the one using Vernier moves, you might not realize just how big of a problem it is. So this is why I'm stressing that, because you know it at an intuitive level. You just need to bring that intuition back up here and use that to tweak your fundamentals, right? So my point is, you guys know how bad / how good certain things are. You're doing it instinctively because it's working. You just haven't really realized it fully yet. So yeah. What formally says is, so if you're fighting a suit that likes to charge shot A, that makes you able to make more informed decisions about firing at him while they are not. Yeah, you know, like if you can read that they're gonna charge shot A, it generally means, well, if they charge shot A, they're wasting boost. So as long as you didn't do something that they're aiming for, then you're a little bit at least ahead of them on the boost, right? Or at least even. So you know. Similarly, you can try and punish that charge shot A, right? If turn X is like running around and you think he's going to charge shot A, if you have the opportunity, if you have the momentum and the frame advantage, quote unquote, based on the rhythm of boosting of both players. So if you're ahead in the boost rhythm, like, you know, basically like if two people are boosting, generally two people will boost at the same time, but you might cut in a little ahead at a certain time, or you might get like two cancels. So if you can sneak in like a BR or something right when you think he's going to charge at A, you can hit him before you can do anything. Same with like doing a Garaby or something, right? A good example of this is sometimes like the YOLO Garaby will work, not because you're aiming to punish the turnaround shot, but because you're punishing them for punishing your Vernier. So sometimes Garaby will work because you stand still to do your Garaby and they think you're standing still to do something they can punish, so they stand still to punish it, and then your Garaby hits them. Right? Like all kinds of these kind of things can happen. So, in case you're wondering, this is a really good example of why a move like Wing's main, or Full Boost Wing Zero TV's main, or Double O's Charge Shot A, those really big Garabys that preserve your momentum. That's why they are so powerful. That's why they are amazing, because they're huge beams that are on angle and don't cause Vernier, so you can punish people when you normally can't because of just why have amazing muzzle correction. And that's why they're amazing. If they caused Vernier, they wouldn't be that amazing. It's the fact that they don't cause Vernier that makes them so amazing. The more you play this game, the more you'll realize that certain moves and the balance of certain moves has everything to do with Vernier. Everything to do with Vernier. You know, and that's why certain cancels are just the crux of certain suits. It all comes down to Vernier. The pros and cons of Vernier of moves is really regulated by whether they cause Vernier or not, how much Vernier they have, and things like startup and tracking guidance and size. Right? That's why we can look at a charge shot A like turn X's, or for example, strike freedoms, and say, wow, these are really good charge shot A's. And then we can look at a move like GP01's charge shot A, and we say, this is not a good charge shot A, right? And they are similar, they're all similar. It just has to do with things like speed and their Vernier time, and which has to do with startup, right? Because a lot of it's not really about Vernier time, which is a phrase I just used, but that's actually improper. It's more of like startup. So they all cause Vernier, but the length of time you're in the air as your Vernier is happening has to do with the startup of it. So, you know, GPO1, you know, Ko's is like, he's like, right? He's like, ah, and you know, the charge shot itself is pretty good, actually. It's just really slow. It's really slow. So if you want an idea of how to practice using charge shot A, play GPO 1, because you will instantly realize, wow, if they are shooting at me, I cannot use my charge shot. I really have to wait till they're not shooting at me to use my charge shot. And when I get my charge shot off, it's generally pretty good. It's fast and has okay guidance. It gets a knockdown just like anyone else's, right? But same with, like, you know, any of those mediocre 2K charge shots. There's what sets them aside from the other really good charge shots is, you know, things like that. Or, for example, X1's charge shot, right? X1 charge shot also, like, it's just, like, really slow, right? Right? Whereas, like, you know, Strike Freedom is like, BAM! So, it has everything to do with Vernier. Vernier is how so many things are balanced. So, and perhaps I will touch more on this subject next time, but, you know, today is really, I think Vernier was the big topic today. Vernier. So I'd like to maybe talk more about Vernier specifically another time, for instance, and, you know, I mean, we can go through, like, so for example, like, just to illustrate this, to hammer this home, I'll go through every single suit and point out something that's strong about that suit that has to do with Vernier. Okay, well, okay, so RX-70, I'll go through some suits that have, like, interesting Vernier things. So, for example, right, okay, I take that back. That's not really, like, Vernier. It's an interesting thing with, like, Verniers. So, first of all, Zeta, right? Zeta's BRs don't cause Vernier. His rockets also don't cause Vernier. This is a very interesting and very strong trait of the suit. He's one of the few suits that has a non-Vernier causing BZ. And anybody who has interacted with this kind of BZ realizes just how good it is to have a non-Vernier BZ, because the Vernier is actually one of the things that kind of keeps BZ in check. The reason why BZ isn't just a amazing BR is because BZ causes you to Vernier while you fire it generally. So having a BZ that doesn't have Vernier is really amazing, and it's one of the cruxes of this play in addition to the fact that his BRs don't, right? Anything interesting with this guy in Verniers? I mean, there's stuff with his BC, but it's not really the same. Let's see. Not really. So, for example, Masala, right? Masala can cancel most of his things that cause Vernier, right? Masala can cancel most of the things he caused Vernier into MA with his BC Force MA. So he can, it's not really the same as canceling out of Vernier. It is, but basically you can cancel your Vernier out into a special MA, which basically makes a lot of his things that would normally be kind of weak, like Charge Shot A, where he stands still and just goes bam and does everything, right? He can cancel that immediately into MA, making the recovery a lot better and making everything amazing, right? In addition, his Garaby has a special property of having momentum preservation, which means rather than just standing still and causing Vernier, he actually slides while he does his Garaby. So his Vernier, quote unquote, is actually kind of a buffed form of it, and what happens is it makes it really good. And if you ever played against Masal, you'll get hit by Garabys and you'll be like, what? Because he'll kind of slide past your BR as you're shooting his BR and then Garaby you, right? So this is directly because of the fact that his Vernier is special for that move. So again, this has to do with cancels, but you know, so I can actually talk about the weaknesses as well as the pros of Qblade. So Qblade can cancel her BR into sub, which is it sets out her remote funnels, and this allows her to get a forced drop by canceling her Vernier out into a normal stated funnel placement, right? So this is a pretty good example of a suit whose strength, one of her strengths, comes from being able to somehow make that Vernier lag reduced, right? In addition, a really good example of a move that's kind of could have been better, but instead is kind of hard to use, is Qblade's Charge Shot A and her AC. Especially her AC, her Remote Detonate. Her Remote Detonate makes all of the funnels that were placed fire at a target. The problem with it is it causes Vernier. You don't have a real way to remove it. So it actually causes really bad vernier because you like lift like this and it's really bad. So it becomes quite difficult to use because it's an offensive move where you have to make sure no one's firing back when you use it. Same with her charge shot A, but her charge shot A is so good that it's still used even though it has vernier, though, you know, it does come with some penalties because of it, right? So same goes with Puru. So Puru's funnel placement does not cause vernier, so she's the only suit that has a true funnel that doesn't cause vernier, and it's her strongest suit. I mean, it's her strong suit. It's her, you know, it's her biggest pro, and that's really the crux of her play, is being able to safely place funnels, right? It's like doing a safe jump in a fighting game, because you're allowed to attack with very, very, very little risk of being hit, right? Talk about that. Nah, I won't talk about that. I will. Well, I will say the thing about V2 that's interesting with regards to verniers is V2 has a special secret awesome tech thing, which is his 2B in Buster, which allows him to, it puts up this little mirror shield that has like some blocking properties on it. And so the reason why it's useful is it basically allows you to use vernier moves. It allows you to use vernier moves without the threat of being attacked. So generally you'll see people put up 2B and then they'll do Garaby or they'll do something else or whatever, or to protect their landing, right? So the power of 2B comes from its ability to protect your vernier moves, allowing you to use strong moves without their real disadvantage. Not really. Not really. Like, not really. So I'll say, well, okay, so I'll say for Master and God is on the opposite spectrum, right? God and Master have tools which are really good for punishing verniers. So God's Straight Pillar, right? God's Straight Pillar, while good for landing punishes, right? How do you actually hit people with that move? You don't really hit them while they're moving. It doesn't really hit anybody that's boosting around, right? You hit them with it because you're counter hitting them, basically. What vernier is, what a lot of moves that punish verniers are is their counter hit moves. So moves like God's Fire Pillar and Master's Neutral Sub, Neutral Whip, they are extremely powerful tools because they punish vernier. And remember that generally in this game, vernier moves are better than non-vernier moves. That's why they have verniers on them, to make them not just broken, right? Vernier is the balancing factor in making a really powerful, strong tool. That's why every single Garaby, aside from certain ones, has vernier on them, as well as being really slow, right? It's just how things work out, right? So these tools, the reason why they're good is because they have the ability to be really strong at punishing vernier moves because they come out really fast. Right? Same with Dragon. So all G Gundam suits. So Dragon also is a suit that will punish verniers because that A is not very good, even the AC2, but the AC is so bad that you generally won't. You can use it to call out verniers, but it's super bad. So I'll just talk about the A. So the A, the A is, again, just like the Pillar, it's not very good at hitting people who are zipping around. It's good for cutting, good for landing punching, but other than that, you're generally hitting people for pushing too hard with a vernier move, unless they're just moving straight at you. So again, and Wing. So one of the reasons why Wing's BR is his strong suit is one of the reasons why Wing's strong suit is his BR is because it's a Garaby without vernier, and it leads to a lot of silly things and all this kind of stuff. So Heavy Arms also has different ways to cancel his verniers. So for example, the main one is he can cancel turnaround turnaround MG, which is his A, turnaround machine gun into missile, which causes fall. And he has a couple other ones, but other way around. Is it B? I don't remember. I know for sure he can do missile into BR as a turnaround fall. Yeah, I think it's missile into fall, sorry, not BR into missile. Yeah, BR into missile just makes you lift, so other way around, sorry. So you can cancel turnaround missiles with B, into BR to fall and cause Vernier, which allows you to do all those tricky fall things, which is really good. And so Death Scythe, right? Here's a pretty good example of things that are bad. So why is Death Scythe's BR, his side swing, poor? It's because it causes Vernier. And that's why it's not very good. That's why he's a close range student. That's why they gave him a weak move. And that's how they gave him a weak move. They decided, we want Death Scythe to have a poor ranged ability because he should be a close range suit. Let's give him the Spear Side. How do we make this not so good? Oh, let's put Vernier on it. Yeah. In addition, it's really important with this suit to... actually, no, I'll take that back. I won't say that. Okay, good. So, Toggy's... He can cancel Vernier into Fast Fall with like all of his Vernier moves. So Toggy's a little weird, so you know. DX, I think he really has an interesting thing to talk about with Verniers. Not really. So turn A. Do I want to talk about turn A's BR, his main? Turn A's main. Yeah, we can talk about turn A's main. So turn A's main, just like all the mobile fire suits, all the G Gundam suits. Turn A's main also very good for countering Verniers. It's just a little bit better, but at everything in close range though, so it's not really the same. It's actually just really good in general because it has pretty good guidance and it's very active all the way out. It's a little different. So turn X's charge shot A, it's really good for landing punishing and punishing Verniers and doing everything. It's really wide. It's really quite an amazing tool. He can also cancel his turnaround BR into a BZ to force fast fall and shift out of that Vernier state. So you know he's one of the best examples of that Amekyan. And Gold Sumo. So Gold Sumo's BR is really good, right? Because you do all these crazy flips and stuff, and you do all these crazy flips, it's really hard to hit you while you're doing really wild stuff with his BR. So, how did they nerf it? How did they make it not just broken? Well, it causes Vernier. Straight up, right? So that's why Gold Sumo is an extremely asymmetrical suit. Because in some senses, BR is really good. Because, you know, it does really amazing evasive action while still having decent guidance, all combos into itself. Very easy. But at the same time, it causes Vernier, which means it can also be punishable, and it makes it much safer to use by itself. Much less safer to use by itself. Yeah, and you know, with Freedom, you can cancel out of Vernier into Spiral State, and it got its own good amount of usage to it. And yeah. Well, I will say one of the biggest examples of how they balance Verniers is the big beam shots from like Seed. So Gunner Zaku, Luna's Gunner Zaku, and Strike Launcher's main, right? They're really big beams with amazing guidance and hit, knock down, and do tons of damage for one shot. And the reason why they're allowed to be that amazing is because, well, on top of having really low ammo count, they cause massive Vernier, which means you can only use them in certain situations, and they're not just like the end all be all beam of God. Right. Like if you ask me if I would rather have, Gunner Zaku's beam than like a normal beam, I may, depending on the suit, rather just have the normal beam, depending, right? Yeah, that's all I'll say. So, Forbidden has a bunch of amazing tools that can use that cancel, so he can cancel either resist into falling BR to remove the Verniers from them. So yeah, it's quite amazing. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Good. Providence. Not really. I will say though, so part of the reason why those neutral mounted Dragoons that Strike Freedom and Hainu and Providence have are good. The ones where you can do the neutral funnel to mount them, and then you can press A and they all fire. The reason why they are nice is because they don't cause Vernier, allowing you to attack very safely with a large volley of attacks, right? So obviously, if they somehow cause Vernier or whatever, it would just not be a problem. So its real strong suit is the fact that it doesn't change your state. Yeah, no. We talked about the suit already. We talked about the suit before, so Charcha A, right? He has a Charcha A, you know, it's low because of Vernier, but good. And not really interesting to talk about. Yeah, we talked about this suit. So Strike Noir has the cartwheel, and we can consider that kind of a special sort of Vernier as well, right? So Strike Noir's cartwheel does cause a weird float effect, so as far as Verniers go, it's sort of like a pseudo Vernier, but it moves you while you're doing it, so it's more evasive, and that's why that move is kind of interesting, because it's a decent way to attack while defending. And yeah, we'll go with that. In full boost, EXVS has a cancel string that is very relevant to this topic, but I won't talk about it. But EXVS, you know, so EXVS sub also does this, so it's pretty much the exact same thing as Strike Noir. It's really good. So Dunamis is also around the same category as... It's around the same category as mobile fighters. So, you know, it's, again, your beam is good for landing punishing, but a lot of time it's also about vector matching and punishing Verniers. Yeah? The same with Garabis and blah, blah, blah. So one of the reasons why Sousa has a weak main, right? Similar to Deathslide, it's because it causes Vernier. We already talked about his Charcha A being really, really good. And Caradum, I will say along the same lines with Dunamis, right? Though not really the same. So Arios also has a cancel, so Arios can cancel into his sub to cause fast fall. And yeah, it's just really good. So RK, right? So one of the reasons why RK is kind of weak in a lot of ways is because his well, not weak, but the reason why he's not an amazing range suit is because his BR causes Vernier, and his AC causes Vernier, and his sub causes Vernier, and his Charcha A causes Vernier. Every single range option he has causes Vernier, and that's why his range options are weak, period. That's why. It's because of Vernier. If they didn't cause Vernier, they'd be quite amazing. Let's see. So, Quanta? Not really. I mean, you know, so his sword on, sword off causes Vernier, so it's kind of one of the weaknesses of it, I guess we could say, but there's not really much to talk about there. All right, I'm not even going to talk about that. So here's somewhat related interesting note about a suit like Unicorn and other shape-shifting suits is the shape-shift in and off causes Vernier, right? So part of the reason why being good with those suits is about managing your Verniers on and off, or sorry, managing your shift modes. It's the same with Strike and same with, there's another suit I'm missing. I guess Raphael and, you know, a bunch of the other mode changing suits, is you do have to realize that your mode change causes Vernier, so it means you need to, it means you need to actually know when to do it. It's not just like a set and forget, pop it whenever you want kind of thing, right? Same with Trans Am with Susanoo, right? So in like Unicorn's case, you know, for example, it's really important to know when to shift out of NTD when you need it, because if you accidentally just let the timer go off, you could be in the middle of running away and pff, your Vernier shuts down, you just get hit, right? So, you know. So Delta Plus, really strong suit because of its BR, you know. And Shinanju, so, you know, again, Shinanju, really good suit. It's kind of similar to Gold Sumo, or yeah, Gold Sumo in the sense that it has a really strong sub, which allows you to attack and it allows you to attack and fight back at the same time, or attack and defend at the same time, right? But the weakness is that it does sort of cause a little bit of Vernier. It's not the same, which is why it's good as true Vernier, but that is where the weakness in that move lies. That and its ammo circulation. Not really want to talk about that. I don't really want to talk about that. It's not really important. Yeah, so Zakukai. One of the reasons why Zakukai is amazing is because almost nothing he has causes Vernier. The only thing that causes Vernier or can't be corrected is Detonate and Santa, right? And Assist, I suppose. But the big thing is that a grenade does not cause Vernier, and you can cancel if it's on angle, and if it's off angle, you can cancel the vernier into machine gun. Right? You can also cancel the machine gun into vernier. Sorry, you can cancel turnaround machine gun into grenade. So it actually goes both ways. I believe. Yes. Yes. Oh wait, no, I take that back. He can't cancel. No, he cannot cancel. Sorry, I am wrong there. He cannot cancel grenade into BR. That was a mistake. So it's only turn around grenade. Sorry, turn around BR. I mean machine gun. Turn around machine gun into grenade. It's still really, really strong though, and one of the reasons why Zakukai is so good, aside from having like amazing damage to bar and a grenade that's just completely different than everything else in the game is really good. One of the reasons why it's so good is because the grenades don't cause vernier, so you can just hop around and do whatever you want at very, very little risk while still being extremely volatile, even in red lock. Because nothing he does causes vernier if you play right. Other than when you need to, right? We already talked about why his vernier is bad. Not really gonna say anything about that. Not really gonna say anything about that. This suit doesn't jump. Not really anything to say here, too. Not really anything to say here. Not really, yeah. Not really. Yeah, Shingen's an APM suit. I mean, sorry, Easy A's an APM suit. Nothing really vernier related about this suit. Putting on his charge shots does cause vernier though, so it does become one of the things about this suit is deciding when you want to change modes, because you can't just do it ever, right? You need to know when the right time to do it is. Of course, it's nice that he has the ABC mantle that comes on the second time even if he's overcosted, so you know it does help for switching modes. But regardless, you know. So we talked about why his charge shot A is bad. It's also an assist thing. So a lot of the suits I didn't talk about, but if they have assist, it also follows this similar principle of understanding when you use your assist. Generally, they cause vernier. They cause you to turn on your boosters, and thus you need to know when it's okay to use them and when the best time to use them is. So this suit can cancel any vernier move into his cloak equip, so it is the crux of his play, and it's because he's allowed to remove vernier state and shift over to a non-vernier state whenever he wants, basically, provided he has a cloak. On or off, I would like to stress. We talked about why the suit's amazing and how it has to do with verniers already. Not really. Not really. So, red frame, right? Red frame is in the same category as like the gold sumo and the RK, particularly RK. His BR is bad, and why is it bad? It's because despite being awesome in the sense that it can auto fire up to 3 times for a guaranteed combo and it leads for really tight strings and easy landing punishes, it causes vernier, making the use of it very limited. So a lot of the biggest problems with red frame comes from the fact that his BR does have vernier, so you need to understand how to use his vernier BR while still being safe and not just wasting too much boost. Yeah, so it has everything to do with vernier. Everything to do with vernier. Same with his charge shot A. It causes like semi vernier-ish habits. Right? Not much to say there. Gold frame. No, it's 3 if I recall. Pretty sure it's 3. Isn't it 3? Should be 3. I think it's 3. I will admit to not playing much red frame, so I thought it was 3, but maybe it's not 3. Let's see. So gold frame. Oh, is it 2? Is it 2? We can just check. Maybe it's 2. Yeah. Maybe it's 2. Oh, it's 4. We're both wrong. Let's see. Where were we? Gold frames. So gold frames. Oh, how many he can shoot, canceling each other? No, I was saying like he has 3 total, but he has 4. My bad. Let's see, gold frame. I guess I will say that like a lot of the weaknesses of his suit have to do with the fact that he cause vernier. So particularly his sub, his like little weird electrical grab, and his CSA, they are poor because they cause vernier. Yeah. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. So hopefully this is illustrated to you just how much of an impact vernier makes on the game. It's actually one of the biggest elements of the game. The vernier system is a brilliant idea. I mean, we could have had, you know, different, you know, they could have had different systems, you know, with recovery and startup and stuff, but the way they use this vernier system is really integral to the way this game works out. It's integral to the game. Right? Without vernier, the game would just be completely different, obviously. So it's really important to be conscious of vernier and what impact it makes. Good. Okay, so I think that's all I'm gonna say. I think that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. I think we're done. So let's go ahead and stop there. It is 8 p.m., 9 p.m. I may mess around for a little bit and do some other stuff, but let's go ahead and stop Second Impact for today. So once more, I'll end with one more announcement, which is that if you have not decided to participate in the Donnie-sen ranking business that goes on every Friday, I highly recommend doing it. It's a really good way to improve and gauge your overall level relative to other players, and there are some, you know, it's generally oriented towards newer players, but you know there are also some more experienced players who are participating as well too. So it's kind of good for everybody. You know? It's just like playing ranked. Right? So that happens like every Friday, generally, and you know there's like awesome prizes and stuff. So again, if you haven't signed up for the forums, I suggest signing up for the forums to participate and such and so forth. So they happen every Friday, and for those of you who have been submitting, thanks again for submitting. And I highly recommend maybe submitting games from Donnie-sen because it's a really good idea of how to look at matches where you're playing against, you know, in team-free situations with like comps and stuff like that. Because you know it's different than shuffle, and team-free matches will always be different than shuffle. So you know, I recommend playing team-free in general for you know playing serious matches.